We are live. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
We're here. We're ready to go. We're going to do another conversation about a lot of stuff that's going on. There's so much going on. It's crazy time. Christmas time coming.
Christmas time is here.
Yeah. We're going to talk
at the same time.
We're going to talk about that communist Santa. Did you guys see that clip?
No.
All right,
Communist
we'll talk about
Santa.
that. We'll talk about that.
Oh my goodness.
But stay with us, y'all. Share the video if you're watching right now. Let everybody know we're live because everything is getting throttled right now. But you're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
Yes, sir. We are live.
Yes, ma'am.
So, damn, your mic just went in the shot. It's
Yes,
all right.
sir. Yes, sir.
But we good. We got the whole crew with us today. We got Moan with me here to my left as usual. We got the brother James, the half black, half Indian with the Spanish last name, returns.
Right.
He's
After
here
a
this week. A long hiatus. How you been, man?
Good.
That's it.
He was hiding.
Where you been? That's
He was
what I should
hiding
say.
to grow that.
He was growing that beard.
Yeah.
Said there's
Come
too
back
many
with my
beards in the room. I got to come back with my beard.
You can go outdo me.
You and Jake, I see some of the grays coming in on that beard, man.
I'm letting it go.
Getting
man.
distinguished out here in these streets. We got Jake with us with the Barcelona hoodie on.
Yeah.
Have you been following Barcelona at all?
Not really. I know they lost today just because I get the
Notification.
But I don't really watch.
Yeah.
That much.
Not into it anymore.
Nah. I mean, every once in a while, but there's more important things.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm wearing the Eagles jersey, and I haven't been watching them either.
Bad laundry day.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike Lopez. Hey, Mike.
Mike Lopez, what's up?
Our cousin from
What's up?
down in Florida.
Lopez.
Yeah, but I just really haven't been watching sports like that. I get kind of the updates on the Eagles situation. I know Carson Wentz got benched.
Yes. I actually watched that last game.
Really?
Yeah.
He looked bad?
John called me. Yeah, he looked bad.
Wow.
Oh, so, since James is here, you want to go into our stuff? I put a picture up.
A picture. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me find it.
Picture.
Oh, goodness.
Shout out to Emma.
What up, Emma?
What's up, Emma? Our faithful friend.
Yeah, Felicia Lopez Valmonte. How you doing? Shaniqua Garcia's watching.
That's right.
Of course. We know why.
Of
She
course.
ain't been watching in weeks.
Thank you, honey.
She does watch. I see her.
That's her check-in to be like, nah, I was there. All right, let me see.
There you go.
Okay.
So, I gotta give my friend some compliments on his
Right.
On his work, huh?
on his work. Yeah. So I've been waiting. Like, oh, James not coming. Every time he never comes.
Yeah.
But since you're here,
Yeah.
this man did this work on my house. He did a little coffee bar for me. So
Yeah.
came out amazing.
That brother does good work, man.
So just wanted to give him a shout out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's shout out Mr. Build Right Business right now, just because we haven't done it in a while. And when you get a chance, Rachel, just look up his Mr. Build Right page, and we can throw up some pictures while we
I appreciate
shower him with praise because
Right.
he been working. You've been busy though.
Yeah, I have been busy actually.
That's good, man.
Very busy, and it's overwhelming. I'm booked till February. Actually, past that, I just did another one.
Man,
You know,
it's some big jobs too.
it's a big one.
Yeah.
This one in Philly is huge.
Wow.
It was just the one we just finished was living room, kitchen. It was huge.
All right.
Is that like the really expensive kitchen?
Yeah, the one in Philly is expensive.
All right.
When I gave them the number, I was like,
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
and when they said yeah, I was like, damn it, I went too low. Because that means
So when we see James cruising around the parking lot of Home Depot,
Right.
looking for employees, we know what he's doing. We know what he's doing.
yeah, man.
Yeah, he was telling me, he was like, I don't remember the price, but throw a price out there. He was like 60,000. They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found out someone was way higher than
Way
me.
higher,
I
huh?
was like,
You were like,
oh.
You were like, damn, but I should have went higher.
Right.
But that's good, man. Especially during these times, a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah,
like that's a blessing.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually there. I mean, in the trades, it's there. I mean, I
That's
think
stimulus money.
Yeah, but and people are home too.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
people
yeah.
had that money, and really what it is, people didn't go on vacation. People
Yeah.
aren't going out spending up, so they're utilizing. People are
Right.
actually utilizing their finances better because
And
Ain't
they're
nothing
stuck
to
in
do.
the house staring at their old crappy kitchen all the
Yeah.
time, and they're like, I
don't
wanna
like these
I wanna
cabinets.
do something
right.
with
They're on
this.
Pinterest,
Yeah, right,
Wayfair,
right,
you
right.
know.
We need to upgrade in the
Right.
kitchen.
Watching HGTV.
Well,
Does
yeah,
that
well-
even exist anymore?
Juanita's been working the whole time.
Yeah, it's been busy.
She's actually
It's been
been, designing bathrooms and stuff now.
Yeah.
Oh, what's
so you,
this?
So you did this whole kitchen, right?
Yeah, I did that one. That was in Philly, Rittenhouse,
Hmm.
by a pharmaceutical guy.
That's
We
another.
need, we need to
level.
see
My
some
kitchen don't
befores
look
and
like that.
afters.
Moan did this one with me.
Oh yeah.
We
Did I?
Yeah, you did the picture for me.
Ah.
Remember we did a little
You don't even remember.
landscaping. Well, that was like my first. That was like the first and last landscaping job I
Oh,
did.
that was a landscaping one where he was like, Mo, can you stop, please? I quoted this job for 5 days. You're gonna get done in
Hey
2
man,
days.
you're giving away the trade secrets, buddy. What are you doing here? Stop it.
I'm just a hard worker,
He's like,
man.
Moan, you're doing too much. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
But y'all been working, man. That's good.
Yeah, we've been working.
That's
man.
good.
It's been busy. It's. I mean, for the first 2 months, of course, everything died out. But then shortly after that, people started, calling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The trades are actually booming.
Right.
The trades are booming, man. There's such a shortage of skilled guys and guys who are going to show up. There are guys out there, but they're not skilled. Like to do it at a high level.
That's something that a lot of like the young kids are not being pushed into enough is learning trades
Because they
and
frown
getting-
upon it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Yeah.
They've been pushing that college stuff. And
Yeah, it's the whole like elitist attitude of what college is and like
And it made you feel dumb. Like if you didn't go to college and you had to work with your hands, it meant that you weren't good enough.
well, I remember in high school all the bad kids were in wood shop. You know what I mean?
Right. It's true. It's
All,
true.
all the like quote unquote loser kids
Right,
were
right.
like in metalworking
Now that
or
loser
what.
kid is hanging sheep
You know,
rock.
what I'm s- no, but now a lot of those dudes have thriving businesses.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, when I did the trade school, I remember everybody telling me, "Man, what are you doing? Get
Yeah.
out of this thing."
Right.
But I was just tired of retail, and I wanted out of that.
Yeah.
Real quick, guys. Shout out to Warnita. Shout out to Paul Horner.
What's up, y'all?
What up? What up?
Yeah, and you realized that going to, a big university to get a degree in basket weaving underwater is not gonna
No, yeah.
it's not gonna amount to anything.
Is that,
It wasn't
except
for me.
Is that a thing?
You know?
I don't know, man. Some of these majors are so crazy.
Right.
There's some things you definitely need school for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
like
and there's
especially in the medical field, like
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of it is
or
fluff.
But-
being a lawyer.
yeah,
Yeah.
But it's especially being a lawyer. But even in that, like the teaching in that could go a certain way
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
there's
fluffed.
always
Well,
you know,
we all know what
always
Rockefeller
YouTube.
did to that.
Yeah.
right.
Well, you fine. You go to a YouTube doctor. I'm not doing that.
No. I'm talking about other, not freaking medical. Why would I bring medical as a?
You can put the camera on your. Oh, let me do the shout out to John and Rachel over there on the production tip. Yeah,
Production.
they don't want to look up because
It was kind of hard because I'm trying to watch the monitor.
everybody say what's up to them because we got them. We convinced them to get on camera.
Yeah, but I think the thing is the one thing that's great about the trades, any of them, is once you learn it, no one can ever. You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
And if people are living in homes and there's plumbing and there's electrical, there's roofing, you can get a job.
Yeah, I mean,
Any-
you look at your dad. He learned in Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
Master carpentry, and then that comes here and it translates.
Translate,
you
yeah.
know, you just have to have the business
Yeah.
side to go along with
Yeah,
that.
if you have that,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
fine.
I think there has to be a level of grace on all sides to come back to business to really have it grow. Because I think like everybody wants quick.
Mhm.
So it kind of because you need apprentices, right?
Yeah.
And
That's another thing that has gone away is the, apprentice.
Apprenticeship,
yeah, but I
ship.
think it makes it hard when you're struggling for jobs and you're trying to do jobs so quick.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To have a turnover like in so many fields, if you had the time, and it's the push on the customer too,
Right,
because
right.
they're like, oh, we want this done, but
Yeah, one done. I want this. It's the beginning of November. Can it be done by Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
No, that demand for that.
Right. Unrealistic demands.
Yeah.
But then if you build your company in a way where you're undercutting everybody
Yeah,
and you're
that's- you
cutting
have
all
to
these
live up to
corners,
that.
then you can do that.
I had to change that about myself when I started getting mentors in the business. And that's the other thing too about the trade that does suck is a lot of guys don't really take young guys under their wing.
Mm-hmm.
They'll teach you how to hang the door, but they don't teach you how to do the sales. And
Yeah.
so because everybody's competition, so they don't teach you. So I have a couple of guys that I trust that are older that saw my passion. And actually what I did was I remember meeting Vic because my dad is a master woodworker, but his business acumen isn't there.
Right.
He's just, I show up, I'll do it, that's it. So I needed to learn that side, and I realized that's where I was weak in. And going to talk to Vic, I saw his job. I was like, wow, this guy is really good. He's just as good as my dad, but he has the business. And I went to him and I said, hey, listen, I saw your work. I did a bathroom. He did the vanity. I said, I saw your work. I said, I would really like to come be an apprentice with you. And he was looking at me like I'm strange. And I said, but here's the deal. I said, I'll come work on your time, and I'll come for free. You don't have to pay me. I just want to learn. Just give me some advice and tips.
Right.
And he told me, he said, no one in the 30 years he's been in business ever came to him and said, just teach me. I'll learn. He ended up paying me because
Wow.
he's like, you showed up, and he's like, but the fact that you were willing to come and say, I'll work, just give me the information.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that, sometimes people don't know how to, if there's nothing involved in it for me money-wise,
Yeah.
but that wealth of knowledge actually helped me. And now he told me, he said, listen, he said, you either stay small or get big. Never be the guy in the middle because you'll take on both problems.
Right.
He's like, so what do you want? Do you want to be really big? Then you need to invest in this, and this, and this. Or you stay small, build a clientele base. You won't be as busy as that guy, but you won't have the headaches they have. But if you're in the middle where you a little bit big, but you're
Right,
not that big,
right.
you're taking on everybody's problems
Right,
because you're
right.
trying to keep up, especially when you have a staff. And he was the one that the best thing for you to do, he's like, is get really good at your craft. He's like, and then build that clientele base. Then you start building that relationship. He's like, what they'll do, they'll go out and sell the jobs for you. Because once people come, they'll talk about you.
Right.
Especially if you showed up on time, you was stayed on budget, you
Yeah.
showed them ways to save. If you did that, you don't hit people over the head, they'll sell the jobs for you.
Right.
and that's the best way to go about anything, like being genuine, being honest,
Being humble.
being humble. And it might not, to do that at first, it's like, it doesn't seem like it works sometimes.
Oh,
you
it
know what I
hurt.
mean?
At first I was like, God damn. Because
But-
it's labor.
And only it's also because of the environment that we're brought up in.
Yeah.
It's taught us to because it's essentially what you're talking about is an internship.
Yeah.
Right. But the idea of what that means nowadays is something
Internship,
totally different.
apprenticeships.
Right.
Yeah. Same thing.
Paul Horner says Jesus was in the trades. Which,
Yeah.
he was a carpenter's last mason, because carpenters weren't just like in that time. It wasn't just like they were carpenters. They
Right.
were masons. They built houses. They built
Right.
structures.
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like you.
Yeah. No, listen, I've learned now that if I can build that relationship with you, and listen, don't get me wrong, there are clients where I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here.
Right.
But for the most part, I think if you're genuine, you show up and you make that effort, they'll sell the job. You don't need Yelp. You don't need Angie's List. You
Right.
don't need none of that.
And when you start getting into it, you learn that all of
It's
those
fake.
things are rigged.
It's fake.
All of those things are pay to play. They're like you can get a certain rating if you pay this fee, and then it's all
That's how
all
it-
that
that's
stuff
what-
is
yeah.
rigged, man.
Shout out to Melanie.
What's up, Mel?
That was the worst part.
Adam Fields, what's up?
What's that?
Working in the trade, is customers like hovering over you while
Yeah,
you're
I
painting
think,
or
there's another part
They're
of it
looking
too.
at every little thing you do. Yeah.
The other part of it is like a lot of older people will say, what's with these young people today? But they're actually the ones that are harder
Right.
on the young guys, trying.
And that's what I think Jake was talking about with the grace thing, because it's crazy to get older and then forget that you were once young. And a lot of old people do that.
Right.
Like, and we look down on it. Sometimes I catch myself doing it too.
Yeah,
Looking down on teenagers on TikTok. But then I catch myself and I'm like, I would have been doing the same dumb shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because you don't see it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the fathers turning to the sons. And the
Yeah.
sons.
Oh, yeah.
That's the spirit of Elijah, breaker anointing. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
my dad does it to me. Whenever I come with something new
Yeah.
or some new idea, he like tries to find fault
Right.
because it's like I'm changing.
He's got to get you back under his wing. He's like, don't
Right.
get from under this wing, boy.
Yeah.
That's how our
And-
dad was with
yeah,
us.
It's
Yeah.
the
In a lot of ways.
traditions.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, that you get stuck under, because I know for us it was like our dad was a musician. He was a rebel. He rebelled from his dad
Yeah.
from religion.
Yeah.
Right. Became a musician. He was a preacher's kid.
Yeah.
But then we're coming up like, well, I don't want to just do music to do music and make money. I want to do music to do what I believe in my heart God
Right.
is showing me.
Or that has
And-
meaning.
Right. And he's like, you need to make money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So we clashed a little bit, but he came around, you know.
Yeah. But
Eventually. so.
even in the sense of like certain things that we were doing musically or like technically
Oh,
that
yeah.
were out of
They were
his,
breaking
they were breaking what
rules.
his normal like, this is how you make a song, or this is
Right.
how you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Even that was like,
I remember seeing a switch in him, yo, like with editing. Like,
Yeah.
you did a song one time and you were cutting and pasting shit.
Yeah.
And he was just like,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I played this, but then
Yeah.
you took all this and then like, yeah, I remember you gaining
Yeah,
that respect
He
from him.
started to towards the end. He started to like
Yeah.
view me as like a legitimate like
Yeah.
producer.
How are you getting this?
You know, instead of just my son that's
Yeah.
trying to make music like me. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I had to do. What I would do, I was clashing with my dad a lot. Now that he's a little more older and he's not as involved.
Yeah.
But at first we were clashing. But what I would do is I realized I'm just gonna have to do it without him. And when he comes in the next day, see that it's done.
Right.
And then let him spend the next 30 minutes staring at it.
Looking at all the corners, like
Put another level on
yeah,
it.
put the level on there and slap that thing on there.
I had the same situation with Gus.
Yeah.
When we did the roof.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah.
It was just us two.
Yeah.
And then he came and inspected it. He was on the ladder. We were up on the roof. And he was like, And I saw James' face. He was like, yes.
Because he I think sometimes, the elder generation, what it is, they feel that the circles that they ran is part of the teaching, which is true in a
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
But they don't realize the use of technology and using your mind, using the information you
Right.
have, you could enhance on that.
Or
They
we could
think
both
it's-
learn from each other.
Yes.
He can guide you in ways he sees you messing
Sure.
up, and he can learn from you at
Sure.
the same time.
Real quick, guys. Just want to shout out Melanie and Gina. Hey, Gina. Thank you guys for sharing. We appreciate it. Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, guys.
Emma,
Rachel
thank you for
Bishop.
sharing.
I
Rachel,
don't see anybody on Young Lion.
they're all on your time. Thank you, guys.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that I think part of the issue with the older generation is because they have done it in a certain way.
Yeah.
They feel like it has to be done exactly like that for you to get it.
Right.
You know? I remember having this conversation about writing cursive with my dad about this, and I was like, yeah, but no, the kids in this generation may never have to write like that again.
Right.
I mean, I get that it's a good thing to have, but the mastery of it is not needed.
It's not practical.
It's not practical anymore.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? It's just
No one's writing letters.
it's
It was
just
a long winter.
right.
We may not survive this one.
Right.
that's where we always fall into like staleness and
Yeah.
stagnant.
Right.
When we have a set of like, well, this worked for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What would work for you in one season.
And
might
it's
not
like I'm
necessarily-
attached to this
Right.
traditionally. Like this is part
Right.
of tradition. Writing in cursive is a craft that we all should learn. It's
Sure.
like,
Right.
yeah, maybe, but
You're at the police station at 2 a.m. filling out a report. Hang on, officer. You're going to want this in good handwriting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it, I mean,
Man, kids don't even need to write anymore.
No,
They
I'm
don't.
telling you.
but on one like it does help to
It does. It does.
to at least have some penmanship that is
Sure.
legible.
you know,
Yeah,
legible
yeah.
where
I
you
mean,
can
of course,
understand
the you have to learn how to write. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is like, it's not as needed. Like,
The
if say
emphasis.
the power grid dies or some kind of EMP
Yeah.
or something, and then you need to write by hand. Yeah,
You know what
But-
they'll tell you? They'll be like, "Can y'all come back tomorrow when
Yeah,
it comes
yeah,
back?"
yeah.
They won't. They don't
Yeah.
care. They don't need the information that bad.
How's Lisi's? How's your kid's penmanship?
Lisi's is actually good. Hers started out really bad, and now it's getting better.
No, it's terrible.
He's
yeah.
a boy.
Boys,
He's
are-
a boy,
Black
man. My,
boys are.
terrible. My wife always says my penmanship is horrible.
Yeah. Mine is bad.
But your dad's is really nice.
My dad is very nice.
But he
Compared to me, no
he
wonder
can
he's
draw
like,
his ass
"You
off.
idiot."
though.
you got good penmanship.
Yeah.
Do I?
I mean, it's better than ours.
Yeah,
We
Shaniqua
always
has
say that.
amazing penmanship. Hers is really good.
Gina Miyazi says, but kids need to be able to sign their names at some point in their life.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen people sign their names?
Mine is.
I mean,
like,
but
Mine is a scribble.
The scribbliest
no, we're not
little
saying that it's not important.
Yeah.
we're just saying that it's the connection between generations,
Right.
Where the things that you have, and they are, but sometimes that older generation just wants you to do it just because, and they can't.
They hold on
see-
to it.
Yeah, and we're headed
Yeah.
into a world where even signing your name is not going to matter.
Right.
Like there is going to be no signing your name.
Right.
It's going to be like a retinal scan or some
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
I think that's the whole point, like, of honoring your fathers, but also the fathers loving their sons in a way where they're not stuck.
Right,
And they're like,
right.
when you're too religious, you're too set in your ways.
Right,
when you're
right,
too
right.
religious, you're like, this is the way it is. You're overly judgmental. You know what I mean? So now you're picking apart everything.
and you're creating divide
Yeah.
within your own family.
When it's like your son could be showing you something new that you didn't see.
Yeah.
And you know, it happens with my kids all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
that's so cool. You know what I mean? Like,
I watched them show me how to. I was telling John this the other day. How to pull up a YouTube video and then put that in the corner of the iPad and then play Roblox on the other corner of the iPad and have a FaceTime call up at the same time.
Right, right.
All on one screen.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know you could do that. So I'm like telling him like, yo, can you do that on the phone? Because I couldn't figure. But you
Well,
can
now
on
you
certain
can,
certain
yeah.
apps. You can. Yeah.
yeah,
Jamie
yeah.
would like the record deal. Also, what's this game Roadblocks you're playing?
Shout out to Tia Michelle said hello all. What's up, Tia? Long time no see.
up?
Yeah.
Barbara Davenport said,
Davenport.
good evening, guys.
Hey,
What's
Barb.
up?
And Gina responded with, I would rather write than print my name. Of course, we
Yeah,
all
yeah,
would.
yeah.
But I'm telling you where it's headed. Like it's
Yeah.
it's just inevitable.
I mean, it's
like
good to have it, and
You have to
should,
have it.
Yeah, of
You have to
course,
have
you
it.
know.
Yeah. But yeah, it's again, like when you, like what you did, you honored somebody who had something that you could use,
Yeah.
you know, but you have to honor them. Like it's not, that's another thing. Like it can't be like, well, I wrote something about wisdom. Like if you just want wisdom because of what you can gain from it, it's not going to really help you long term.
right.
But if you want wisdom with the intent behind it, which is the heart of the thing,
Right.
now you're getting the whole
Yeah.
going,
And you're
getting
willing
the
to
whole
share it.
scheme of something. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
you're willing to share
Yeah.
it. You know?
And you've created a connection with the person, like because the reason why that person did what he did was because of a heart. So now you're not just getting what they did, you're getting the heart behind what they
Right.
did.
That's
So
why the
that's
apprenticeship
meaning.
thing is
I think
so
it's huge.
needed.
I
Right.
think
You know what I
it's-
mean?
yeah.
It's such a dynamic that's needed because, like you said, it's that relationship where you actually learn the person's passion behind the
Yeah, yeah,
craft,
yeah.
and it's not just about making money or like the quickest way to get rich.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You start to develop a love for the craft
Right.
that you want to carry on.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's something that you can't get in school.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
for the most part.
yeah, I know growing up in school, it was boring to
Yeah.
me. It took and I love learning. Like
Yeah.
I love learning. I love
Yeah.
learning all the time, but it takes the passion out of it because
It's
it's,
just-
like it's tormented programming.
Right,
Like,
right.
I'm being tormented to learn something without the meaning behind it.
Right.
So that's literally like takes the passion out of it.
Right.
You know? Unless your passion is to learn so you can feel good about
or unless
yourself
you get
something.
like some random passionate teacher that comes along,
Right,
and
right.
then that changes
Yeah.
things. That class could be good,
Yeah.
but for the most part, you just get people that are doing a job. They have to
Yeah.
teach you this curriculum
But
that
then
everyone
they're
has
forced.
to
The
learn.
teachers are forced not to be creative and be unique.
You're right.
They have to follow these because they got to. They're going to get in trouble.
Yeah,
And if if the teachers are disconnected, the students are disconnected.
Yeah.
You're disconnected because you don't have anything to hold
I
on
always
to.
wonder that, like, this school system we've had has been running for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Are we really sitting down and watching the results and being like, yeah, we're getting some results here, or are we? What are we doing with this thing? To see that we're turning out.
I think they're just like they're not getting results, but they're blaming everything else. Like
Right.
they always
Yeah.
have another variable.
Like, why is standardized testing? Like, I just found out that it's not. I mean, yes, it is to see what the kids are, but it's really geared towards like state funding and like,
Yeah.
it's tied into budgets. Like, it's really just to see where you're at. Like, it's not really to see if the kids.
So the root of it is the love of money.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's
So it's like you really don't have you have a relationship with money and not a relationship with people or why they have the knowledge that they have.
right?
yeah,
So it's a total breakdown.
yeah.
Real quick to the comments. First Gina responded and said she would rather print her name because she's old. And then Paul said you can't really
She's
learn.
older.
Yeah, older. She said I'm old. That's what she said. You can't really learn if you don't have love and respect to those teaching you. That's true. That's Paul. Tia said cursive writing started for me when I was in Catholic school, and I still sign my name or just write in general cursive writing. It's because you're a girl. Guys ain't got time. Guys ain't got no time for that.
I think girls are better at writing because they from my experience.
I think so.
Girls are neater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're neater and they're more. They care about that stuff. Boys don't write no diaries. They don't care about any of that. Yeah.
Ariana, what's up? She said, "Hey guys."
What's up, Ariana?
And Gina agreed with Tia. Barbara said, "Oh, Ariana, you remembered. Thank you for remembering, Ariana." So speaking of, did you guys see this? We're talking about school. We're talking about teachers. Did you guys see this clip that went viral of this teacher that was going crazy? Like all these videos keep coming up of people spazzing out in their cars, right?
That's
Like,
not presenter.
oh, I forgot to put it on. You're right. So this video went viral on Twitter. I'm gonna bring it up real quick. And this teacher, let's see if John can pull this up.
Is that,
Oh,
do we
I
want
did.
To play this?
Yes, we
Okay.
want to play it because you have to hear.
No, but I wasn't sure if you were like, it was up and ready to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's ready. So
That's-
this
That's
is
the appeal to heaven flag.
3.6 million views.
That flag right there.
3.6 million views. That's yeah.
Appeal
So
to
this
heaven.
was people out protesting the lockdowns, saying they want to get back to work, right? And this is
What does the flag say?
a appeal to
It's
heaven.
the appeal to heaven flag. It's like an old flag. It's got some history behind it that we won't go on.
But just watch this video because this is a child, elementary school teacher.
She's so emotional.
Yo, like unstably emotional,
Yeah.
just from people standing there with signs.
Yeah.
The first thing she says is "kill yourself." Like that's the first thing she yells at them. Like,
I think she got through.
That's
but it's like
that's what you see a lot on the
Paul Warner
social
says-
justice.
No wonder the kids are messed up these days.
there's a lot. I saw a bunch of teachers tweeting about the keeping schools locked down. Teachers unions don't want, especially in California, like they don't want to reopen schools.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's why.
What did it?
That's why, like stuff like that, you see, like somebody like that obviously needs some love.
yeah.
She needs to know some real love. She needs healing. She obviously is dealing with some torment
Mhm.
because you don't go that crazy for something like
Yeah.
that, And that's, I think, on the other end of that, we have to see that. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people out here that are hurting. Like,
That's the thing. Is
Yeah.
like for you to be that emotional, like you have bought into some kind of like
Yeah,
some kind of narrative that is just
she's scared.
yeah, she's so scared right now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like she has the mask under her chin while she's driving, so
Mm-hmm.
clearly, like, and she sees those people out there protesting, she gets triggered in a way where it's like,
Yeah.
I gotta scream at these people,
People
and
are
loses
dying,
it. Yeah,
which nobody is really dying.
you sure you want to say that?
I mean, yes, it's the truth. We shared the
I mean, people are dying, but we don't know.
no, people are dying, but what I'm saying is that
What you're talking about is this right here. Ready? I'm about to bring it up. Hold up, not yet, John. Show everybody my text messages. Know how you like to do. Oh no, I didn't put it in there. Never mind. But I saw someone had a breakdown of like the last. I'll find it real quick. It was a breakdown of all of the overall deaths from the last like
this last year.
10 years.
oh okay.
No, last 5 years.
Okay.
Here, I'll bring it up in a second.
Yeah, people are just scared. They're scared, man.
Yeah.
And you don't know with these numbers.
But they're scared because the media is constantly pumping fear nonstop
Yeah.
to everyone. So right here.
But I know somebody whose their daughter is a nurse.
So this all comes from the CDC. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, their daughter's a nurse, and they're saying that their hospital beds are being taken over. Like there's barely any beds because of COVID. People coming in, and they were saying that people are dying. But we don't know like what they're dying from. Like
Yeah.
COVID might be
COVID, like we were saying that last week, COVID could be an accelerant to
whatever issue that you have.
Yeah.
We're not saying COVID's not real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just weird when you look at these numbers.
The numbers, yeah.
From, I mean, this is from the CDC total deaths in the United States 2015 through 2020. And as of September, we were at 2,168,000 and projected to be at 2,818,000 by the end of the year, which is still less than 2019.
Right.
So if you have
and 20.
That's a total
18.
death.
that's the total death. So like if you look at, there's this influx of almost 300,000 corona deaths that should be, exceeding the normal number of deaths.
Yeah.
So it's weird when you
and
see
then
that.
what you put up last week, which showed the amazing decrease in
Right.
heart disease.
So this information goes with that Johns
Amazing.
Hopkins article that doctor did,
because
It
doesn't make any
amazingly
sense.
got
showing
added.
that like heart disease just dropped astronomically, diabetes, all these normal things that are like the number one cause of death have gone pretty much. The flu has disappeared. You know what I mean?
Because they're basically anybody comes in and die, they're considered what?
Well,
Corona.
they've been incentivized in a way to consider more deaths, COVID deaths, because they get funding for that.
Sure.
So it's like anyone who comes in, I mean, it just makes it hard to tell what's really going on. And I think like people are being made to be so afraid of something. And I mean, even the CDC showed the survival rate numbers, which is 99.9999% if you're under the age of 70, 94% if you're over the age of 70. It's like, so it's weird to be like this scared of that, to the point where like, and I get it, people are dying, but is it that people are dying at a more astronomical rate, or are people dying how they normally die? But it seems, because we have this threat of COVID in the back of our mind, that it's being made to feel like it's more dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the numbers aren't bearing that out, which is weird. I don't know.
Right. It doesn't. Something's not making sense, and that's the thing. Like when you look at the data,
Oh, it's making sense.
and then you look at what they say, just on that scale, it's not making sense. Now, is COVID a thing? Yeah, of course it is. Does it cause issues? Yeah, of course it does. But is it as big of a threat as they're trying to make it out to be in the media? No, it's not. And that's the problem, is that they're putting people in fear over something that they don't need to be in fear of.
Right.
You know, and on just like a worldly level, but people who believe and trust in God, because there is no fear
Right.
when we truly trust in God. And I think even for Christians at this time, it's a time to reflect and realize and recognize, are we really trusting in God? You know, because Christians are supposed to be the government of God that actually brings in heaven. And if we don't trust in God, where's it going to come from? We're the stopping force, you know, and that shows that how much are we stopping? You know, how much are we bringing God's justice in? How much are we showing God's love that takes away fear from so many people?
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that the whole media thing can be overturned, you know, if the church will start to take up. And I think it's happening little by little.
I see it happening. I see a lot of people starting to realize like they can't just be watching the news all day and trust everything that's being said. Tia said, between COVID and natural causes going on, it's causing all kinds of emotional problems and breakdowns of everything for everyone. But I think the point is that it's exacerbated by people that like, it's like when you know a hurricane is coming, right?
Yeah.
And you stay glued to like the news coverage of that hurricane for days, and you can whip yourself up into, remember Y2K?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember how people were like so afraid of this thing? People were buying
A snowstorm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snowstorm, same thing. I mean, and then when it comes and it's not as bad as they say, they will even fake it. Like, remember the footage? See, I don't know if you can find this, but remember the footage from Hurricane Sandy when it got here?
Oh, yeah,
and
in
like
Atlantic City.
the dude was standing in like a little puddle, but he was trying to act like. Or there's like footage of dudes when hurricanes hit where they're like acting like the wind is blowing.
But then there's a dude
And
behind him.
then there'll
just
be like a
playing in the
couple
water.
walking behind him. There'll be like a couple just strolling behind him, and he's like, "The wind is blowing so hard, I can barely stand."
right,
You know what I mean? Like because now they're incentive. They need to
incentivized,
keep you watching
Yeah, yeah,
because they make money off of that.
Rating
they
sweep.
do.
Yeah.
Ratings.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is an incentive for the news to keep you watching too. You know?
I think what people are struggling with is they can't make the connection between the economic and the corporatized and the political
Yeah.
connection.
Right.
I think we've been conditioned to believe that the leaders, whether it's the church, whether it's the political, whether it's someone in authority, they have
There it is right there. Look, he doesn't know that they're just like strolling behind him. But he's trying to act like the wind is blowing hard. Yeah. But it's like, this is what they do.
he could have yelled cut.
This is what they, like he tried to frame them out of the shot, you see? You see, the camera guy tried to save him, but it didn't work. Yeah, people don't understand. Like, yo, they at the end of the day, they need to sell diapers.
Right, and I think
to you.
that's the
So,
connection.
yeah.
That's the what people can't make
the money.
connection to.
Yeah.
That's the disconnection. They're connected to the money, you
Right.
know,
And politicians are connected to their
Right.
power and the money behind
money,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
why would they do that
Right,
though? Why?
right.
And you're like, why would they not? Like,
Right.
this
Why
is-
would they not use this to their advantage?
Was it Winston Churchill that said, "Never let a good crisis go to waste"?
Yeah, and I think Rahm Emanuel said that not
Right,
too long ago.
right.
You know,
That's what they do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
these political corporate entities. That's what they do.
I mean, you can look at that on the other end. Like, there's opportunity in crisis.
there is.
of course,
You know, opportunity to see what you couldn't see before because you were too caught up in your negligence.
Yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
But it's like it could go that way where if you're a person who's a believer and you really search within and you open yourself up to God, God will give you the answers that you
Right.
seek.
Yeah.
But if you go the opposite way, you're like,
This is an opportunity,
Yeah.
and that's what's happening. Like,
This is a come up.
Amazon is killing it right now.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
like
So
there's
of course,
a lot of companies.
Of course, all over his pages, it's saying "Stay inside,
Yeah.
don't do anything else."
Right.
Of course, Bezos, and then he owns a newspaper.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
of course, and he's trying to buy CNN.
yeah, I heard that.
The Amazon trucks in Philly, my mom literally the other day as we were driving in the car was like, There's so many of them. You know what it reminds me of? Like the trucks in Willy Wonka when they all just like come out driving to deliver the chocolate. I was like, yo, you're right. Like everywhere you
They're
look,
adding 20,000 jobs
Yeah.
in 2021.
Yeah.
it's crazy. They're everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, he watched his stock skyrocket because of
Right.
this pandemic and because of the lockdown orders that a lot of these. Matter of fact, a lot of these mayors and governors that aren't following, I have a whole
Sure.
a whole video montage of them
Right.
breaking their own lockdown
and,
orders.
and that's the thing about with the news and the corruption of the news and the manipulation of it is they'll tell you all of these things and there's constant footage of these put that right there please all these mayors who are telling you this. And Gavin Newsom in a
Yeah,
restaurant
yeah.
eating, he's telling people, hey, if you're going to go out and eat, I want you to wear your mask. When you take a bite,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
put back your mask, take a bite. And they catch
They
him in a
catch
restaurant.
him, no mask at all. He's saying-
Wait. That's a thing. They said like take a bite, put your mask
He
back
said
up.
that.
Take a
Gavin,
bite, put
Gavin
your mask.
Newsom.
goodness.
How about Lori Lightfoot, the Chicago mayor, talking about, girl, it ain't time to go out there and get your hair done.
Right.
Your roots don't need to be. And then she's caught at the hair
Right.
salon, and her answer was, well, I'm a public figure,
look good.
and I care about my hygiene.
No, it's 2020.
Or-
we
or
all an
they-
Instagram public figure at this point.
Right?
Or they were in the streets, thousands of them with Lightfoot.
Yeah.
When
Right.
they thought Biden,
Right.
won.
Right.
They were celebrating with no
Yeah.
masks
No
and
masks
stuff.
on.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's the hypocrisy of it, and I think people can't make the connection.
They get caught all the time. All the
Right,
time.
right.
Right.
But I think we can't get pulled too much into that too, like the hypocrisy of it, because there's, you know how love your enemies,
Right.
You know what I mean? If you don't know that there's still hope, then you'll judge, like, and even being as a church, like, you can't be open to them, so you can't bring in justice,
Right.
You know what I mean? Meaning, like, if they're limited and they're working in their limitations, and then you're judging those limitations and you keep them in their limitations.
Right.
But God shines on those who are in their limitations.
But you can point out hypocrisy to break someone of the spell that they're under. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah,
Because that's the first step.
You speak to it, but
Right.
then you bring the hope.
yeah.
Right.
I think it's like you can't get in the seat of condemnation where you're beholden to the fact that you want to prove them wrong to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
fun of them. They're making
Yeah.
fun of you,
Right.
and you're like, I
And you're
can't
like,
wait
I
to
wanna-
make fun of you.
Now it's my turn.
There was
Yeah.
something I saw that which was and somebody who was gay used this to like support the way they feel, or I don't know, bi, whatever, gay, to support like how they felt, right? And it was like in the Bible how it talks about like homosexuality, where it's like actually it's not what it says if you look at the Koine Greek. And there was somebody who was a Bible scholar saying this, like, and so people, they took this and say, see, but it's like, you got to understand, Jesus spoke to the most scholarly people,
The Pharisees, yeah.
the Pharisees, and literally said, you search the word, you search the scriptures for eternal life, and it's not in there because I'm standing right in front of you. I'm the resurrection and the life.
Right.
So you can get so focused on trying to prove yourself and having, like you're saying, having that life
This
to
justifies
prove
me,
my
right.
my life that you actually miss when he's standing right in front of you
Right.
and saying, I'm bringing the light, I'm bringing the life, but yet you can't see it. You're blind to it because you want to prove yourself so bad. You want to stay in your own pride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're all the intellectual or on the other side of that, you want to stay in your out of control passion
Right.
for however you want to live.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Or people, a simple thing in terms of looking at your own life is you'll want the politicians to get it right, but you won't talk to your own brother
Yeah.
or your own.
Right.
But you're complaining. You know what I mean? Like,
Or how about you? You ain't getting it right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Either way,
saying?
you're not looking
Yeah,
at
yeah.
yourself. You know.
Well, look
Right.
at what's going on in the country right now. You got all the voter fraud that's happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't like. If you just take a
They
second,
gonna fact check you.
if you just take a second to just research it on your own a little bit, you'll see it. But if you faithfully follow the mainstream news, it's a non-existent thing.
Well, but people
Yeah.
do that because they're getting confirmation bias.
That's
You
my
know what I
point.
mean?
That's my point. It's
Right.
confirmation
Right.
to how you feel.
Right.
So you're just giving. But when you really want to humble yourself and know, I want to know the truth.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that sets you free, right? Then you're gonna see. But when you're stuck trying to prove yourself or prove your desires,
Mm-hmm.
you know, prove how you feel about something, then corruption stays around.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's my point. Like the corruption is in the voting. It's not going to be handled if you don't want to handle it because your side won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
Doesn't
the
happen.
next time your side's not going to win and you're going to feel cheated.
Yeah.
You know?
If it does get overturned, but actually Biden won, it's no good for, and people who wanted Trump to win, it's still no good for the country.
Right,
What's
right.
good for the country is the truth.
Right.
You know, no matter what you feel.
And the exposing of the corruption. That's what's good for the
Exactly.
country.
Right. But why do you think people, and I mean, why do you think people feel that need? Do you think it's because their circle might judge them if they...
Definitely social
I think
shame
it-
plays
yeah,
into that.
so- yeah, right.
Yeah.
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 But
if
it's,
someone on the internet, you don't care. But if your uncle or your
Right.
aunt or your cousin
Right.
or your... So, you know what I mean?
I think that's another construct set up to keep people in check, is that social shame.
Right.
that's principality.
Right.
But that's why so many people, that's why you hear it so much. Like, that's why it's being, but that's being pushed down from the top, though, where it's like, oh, anyone who doesn't think like this is a terrible person, you know? So it's like that social shame is always.
I can see it in people's comments on when someone posts something, whether it's their like or dislike, and someone will write in there, dude, really?
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
you're thinking to yourself, was that person supposed to think like you
Right,
and behave
right,
like you?
right.
The,
I'm disappointed in
the
you. That whole
audacity.
thing, like-
you know what? You're not thinking like me.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Like that kind of condescending way. And I'm like, but how do you know what that person is feeling? How do you know what they've been through to know what they're feeling?
I saw this
You know?
meme. It goes along with what we're talking about here. Someone posted this. So it's like, if you're just listening, it's a bunch of people on the left side saying, following the narrative, and they're all pointing at 3-4 people that are analyzing the facts, and they're all screaming, "You're a terrible person," because it's like anyone who doesn't.
Right.
Yeah. But you got to go to that other side.
Mm-hmm.
You
gotta
got to go
be
to
will-
that.
you gotta
that-
be
that-
willing
and
to-
become a fool.
Right.
Like that's the thing. Like the thing that sucks is that you got to actually like die to your own desire to prove somebody right.
Yeah,
Right. Or at least be
You
willing
know.
to listen.
yeah.
Like can't shut them
And you
off.
got to be open to realizing that, like, you could be wrong.
Yeah.
You know. So I wanted to show this video and get your guys' reaction to it. I talked about it earlier. It's something that politics usually isn't connected to would be the idea. We've talked about Santa Claus and like how we feel about the
I think I know what
idea
this is.
of Santa. Do you guys like you believed in Santa as a kid, right? I remember.
That is correct.
And
You are
Wait,
correct, sir.
he's not real?
did we ever ruin that for you?
Yes.
No, it was kids in school.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And
How old were you?
I was in 3rd grade and they told me he's not real.
And how did you feel when you found out it was
I
fake?
didn't want to believe him, and then I came home and I think I was crying. I told mom, and then mom was like, "These kids ruined everything."
But that's
Wait.
What kind of abuse? Like, but this is the thing. Like, we've just normalized the idea of lying to our kids about Santa until the point where it's like now they're getting too
Because
old.
it's magical.
Yeah, it's like the magic. We buy into the magic. The
I
fantasy.
didn't have that option.
Yeah.
I had questions.
Yeah. I mean, I was honest with my kids.
You know why? Because when you don't know the truth, you gotta lie so that something can feel kind of exciting, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
Right.
or it's also used as a control mechanism at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if
But
you
that-
don't want to be on the naughty
You better
list,
behave.
you know, you
Yeah.
won't get any presents. You'll
Yeah.
get some lump of coal in your stocking.
But I mean, even with like the
Dude,
elf,
that's real.
the elf
on the
thing,
shelf is the new
like,
thing.
Right.
Today, my son Jakey, he's like, "Daddy, can we get an elf on the shelf?" I'm like, "For what?"
Dude,
he's like,
at least
he's like,
ask me
just
the
so you can
same
move
thing.
it around. And I'm
I
like,
can
but,
only imagine Jakey will never ask for anything again.
but I'm like, but you know it's not real. So why do you want to do it? He was like, just because it's fun. So you already like get pulled into that
Right.
because everybody does.
Everybody's
it, you know?
doing it.
You
Yeah.
see it.
At
from
least ask me
everybody.
the same thing.
Wow.
She was like, I know it's fake, but can you just get an elf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what? What are you talking about?
But that's
No.
isn't that really an experiment on social grouping though?
It really is.
Because
Yeah, I
at
think
that
it is.
age, like, how do they know that I need this?
Yeah. I remember having to burst that bubble for her because her teacher one year, I think in kindergarten, was like all into the elf on the shelf thing. And every day they would come in and the elf had
Right.
moved. And I had to tell her, like, yo, your teacher is doing that.
Right.
Like, think about it. When you leave school,
You sound so mean.
I know.
to other people.
But I didn't
ruined
say
the
it like
joy.
that. I didn't say it like that. I was like, at least I know it's fun. And I know, like, because she was really believing that this was real.
Yeah.
But you just answered that. That's control because the teacher gets to control the
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
Now, if you guys don't behave,
right. The
elf
elf
is going to
yeah,
go away.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
Right. And so, but once I broke it down,
Right.
and I was like, think about it. When you leave the classroom, you don't know what she does with that elf.
Right,
And she
right.
was like, oh, like it. I saw it click for her.
Right.
And then after that, it was like, okay, the spell's broken. You know
Right.
what I mean? What is that noise?
This guy.
My bad.
The spell.
Fidget too much.
The spell was broken. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
But I also informed her, like, listen, you can't be in school, ruin it for the other kids, though. Like, that's not your place.
Right.
That's not your place.
That
Like,
was
you're-
the same thing, the same issue I had with Noah.
well, no, she didn't do it. I told her ahead of time, like, don't ruin that because that's not your place to like destroy their
Right.
idea of like her friend Tayana believes in Santa Claus. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was funny because the other day we were talking about something about Santa Claus, and she was like, "Don't say anything," because Tayana believes that Santa Claus is real. And then and Tayana was like, "Santa Claus is real," and she was like, "Yeah, Santa Claus is totally real." And then she was like, "Right, Aria?" And Aria was like, "Yeah, totally."
No, he's not.
Yes,
Oh my God.
he is real.
yeah, but
That's a hard thing.
Right.
Actually, that's Jakey asked me the other day. He was like, "So where does Santa Claus come from? Is there like a real story behind that?"
yeah.
So I got, I told him like what I know, historically about Santa Claus. He was like, "Oh, okay."
Note to self,
But then he's
don't
like,
ask Daddy.
no, it actually helped him out. Like that's the thing. When he knows it's real, he's like, okay, so why is it such a big thing? And he wants to know more about
Right,
it,
right.
And then, but he also asked me about like
Yeah.
why we give gifts. Oh, it's because Jesus got gifts. It's like I don't even have to tell him. He starts figuring this stuff. See, he's thinking for himself.
Yeah.
When you just tell them everything,
Right.
Like
And your approach too, I think, by you having the conversation, because I think some parents just stop. The parents who are overzealous or who are too religious, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's the devil, and you're like, "Jeez, I ain't never asked you nothing."
Now that's where you go. Yeah.
You're wrong right there.
A couple comments real quick. Tia
Santa
said,
Claus is real.
"Yep, that election was crazy. I sent my bill payment through the mail, and one of my payments was a couple weeks late from President Trump stopping the mail."
What?
No mail got stopped, right?
No,
that
no.
was all
Yeah.
like crazy.
if you think President
know
Trump had the power to stop mail, you
You know what's funny is remember all those stories that just went away where they were like, they're stealing mailboxes.
Yeah.
There's trucks with tow trucks coming and stealing all the mailboxes, and it turned out to be fake. I believed in Santa when I was in second grade, but my parents told me it was them. A couple years later, they asked me if I was mad, but I really wasn't, because for one, we had no chimney, and two, an alarm system that never went off when Santa Claus came in. That's something that like yo, you have at some point you're gonna have to reveal to your kids that you're a piece of shit, like that you've been lying to them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, you don't gotta say all that.
I'm
but-
just saying, like, but you don't think that you don't think that a little bit of that dynamic
Trust,
jumps into a
trust.
kid's head where it's like, yo, I
Yeah.
can't trust what you say now.
yeah.
We told the story about
Johnny,
and
Johnny
how
was
it.
devastated.
Or there's honor and dishonor.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right,
Yeah.
right.
That's another dynamic. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so I
So
can lie
it's good
about
to
this.
lie sometimes.
Yeah, only when it might benefit.
And what's hard? So as we're saying that, me growing up in another country, here's what's hard about that. American people who live in colder climates,
Yeah.
it makes sense, right?
Right.
But in the Caribbean, there's no chimney.
There's no snow.
There was no white people around. So how do you explain that? And I think when in my older years, when I would tell my American friends like, yeah, and they're like, because to them
You
it's
didn't
the,
believe in
it's the
Santa?
magic of
They
it.
feel like you missed out on
I
something.
feel like I missed out.
So it's trauma that they pass
Right.
on to their kids. Like, it's just
And yo, to be honest with you, because I knew, like at a young age,
Right.
Yeah.
because we knew, those are the things I would think about.
Right.
I would think about like it makes exactly that.
Yeah.
Like it kind of makes sense in like America
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
or like
Europe.
Western
Yeah.
European
It would, it
countries,
would.
but anywhere else in the world
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Hey, there's parts in
And I
the
don't,
in
but
the
that's
U.S.
the thing, though.
where
I
it's
don't think
not,
other people
don't get
think.
cold.
Yeah,
people
true.
don't think of the world in its entirety. They
Yeah.
think of their it's local,
Yeah.
regionalized.
Right.
Macy's and waiting to sit on the
Yeah,
lap.
right,
Like
right.
there was nothing.
and
like
that's
that.
what we're going to get into. Well, think
Where-
about that. There's no sitting on the lap right now.
Where did like we know?
Oh my god.
You just thought about that?
I totally forgot about everyone sitting on
Ew.
all of Santa's laps.
Think about that.
Santa got me too.
A little weird,
I
huh?
was not about that life. The picture we have, I was not happy.
So when did that start? Like
Sitting on
Sa-
Santa's lap?
Pictures.
no,
Pictures.
Santa Claus.
Oh,
I don't know.
Santa
dude.
Claus?
Santa Claus.
To be honest with
just
you,
like the
like-
character, the
It's a monk.
the
it's,
magic.
It's pretty new. Like it's only like the 1900s.
yeah, it was
Like,
a monk that.
the 20th century it became like a thing. I mean, it goes back, but
Yeah.
to where it picked up steam was actually from. What do you think? What do we always talk about on here that makes something a thing?
What do you mean?
It's marketing. That's
Oh,
how
yeah,
it
yeah,
became
yeah,
a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's
yeah.
marketing.
Yeah.
wizardry,
marketing, man.
wizardry.
Yeah,
Marketing,
because,
movies.
Because, like, again, going back to what I'm saying, when you think about that, that would only exist here because of, because of merchandise, because of marketing and sales. Because in a third world country, there's no Macy's, there's no waiting in the line,
Right.
there's no. I was just watching.
No Black Friday.
No, there's none. I was just watching an old classic, Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
right?
dude.
That's a good one.
I
Cla-
like
that
that
is
one.
classic
That was
Christmas
the-
marketing brainwashing right,
Right
there, bro.
But I'm looking
That's
at
the
it.
one with the
doll,
toy.
he's gotta get
and I was
Tom
looking at
Arnold.
that, and I was like, this came out in 1996. I was what 14, 15 or whatever.
yeah.
That made no sense to me at that time because that was not my world in
Right.
the Caribbean. Because
Right.
it's different, and I don't think people think of people from other places like how this wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't go.
Yeah.
You know, and then me working in retail for years, honestly, watching them decorate the little area and it is wonderment. Like
Yeah.
if you look at it, it is wizardry and it is
Right.
beautiful.
Right.
Like it could really fool that kid into believing that this is true. You know?
Yeah.
So
And then you go there and you sit on his lap and you tell him what you want for Christmas, and then your parents are obligated to buy that for you or else it ruins the thing.
Right.
And that's where we're gonna get into this video right now that I'm about to show
So
you.
real quick, Moon, the answer to your question is at the end of the 18th century, 1773 and 1774, a New York newspaper reported that groups of Dutch families had gathered to honor the anniversary of like St. Nicholas's death. And then after that, it started to pick up with the shopping malls. And they
And
started-
Saint Nicholas was like a saint in the Catholic Church or something.
Yes.
They used to give out gifts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody can go research his whole backstory,
Yeah.
which we all know a little bit about. But
Right.
so in 1820 and then the 1840s, stores began to advertise Christmas shopping, and then Salvation Army, shout out to Steve, was one of the ones who like patented like dressing up a man as Santa Claus, have him stand outside and like collect donations.
that does make sense because it's red. There's there are colors.
Church
Yeah.
again.
And then Miracle on 34th Street in 1947 kind of like re-solidified that for American
The
culture.
movies,
Right.
Hollywood propaganda again.
Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Since 1924, they've always had a Santa Claus.
Yeah, I was watching it this year because I'm like, how they gonna do the parade, during the pandemic? And the whole time it's just like the whole theme was believe in Santa, and it was like everything was about believe. I'm like, yo, this is a wizardry. But anyway, okay, so let's check this out. So pull this up, John. I just want to point out that no sitting on Santa's lap. You got to sit on a little chair,
Oh, I saw this.
feet away from him. And so here we go, little boy, 4 years old, gonna tell Santa what he wants for Christmas.
What do you want for Christmas? You don't know. What?
Okay, so he said he wanted a Nerf gun. Okay. It's just
No guns. Nerf gun. No, not even a Nerf gun. Nope. If your dad wants to get it for you, that's fine, but I can't bring it to you. Well, what else would you like? There's lots of other toys. There's Legos,
Wait, this is Santa Claus
This
saying
is
that?
Santa
Santa Claus
saying
saying
this.
that.
cars and trucks. What do you think?
It's a social justice Santa Claus.
Sounds like a bitch.
It's okay. Your dad
Now look, little boy starts crying.
Man, notch on your job today.
Don't cry.
James looks like he's in shock.
Yo, he could have easily deflected that.
Dude.
Like, he could have been like,
He was purposefully a dick.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, he was like, nope.
Like,
Nope.
no, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand the logic behind that at all.
He thinks he's being righteous.
But that's what I'm saying.
guns up.
But he
backfired
said,
instantly, though. It
Yeah.
backfired instantly. He probably was like,
yeah. I think he got fired. But the funny thing is, like, yo, you telling the little boy, no guns, nope, not even a Nerf gun. And then your dad can get it for you if he wants to. Bro, that's who's getting it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you really think you're Santa?
Yeah.
Like, what is going
I
on?
have to uphold the
There's
values
so many-
of Santa Claus.
so many other good things. He could have just not said
You
anything.
couldn't have been
Okay.
like, okay, a Nerf gun. What else would you
what
like?
else would you like?
Yeah. Or what else would you like? Yeah.
Why
yeah.
is the making a 4-year-old cry like
Yeah.
the main point?
what
No,
else,
no
what else do
guns.
you think was going to happen? This kid was going, you're right, Santa. You know what? There are too many guns
Right.
out there.
I didn't
changed
think
my
that
mind.
one. I didn't think that one through, Santa. I'm 4 years old and I like Nerf guns.
You know,
Like,
I don't know.
It
what's
feels
going
like
on.
we're being pulled into an orchestrated world that doesn't matter.
yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm
to be
saying.
honest with you, like we even talking about this, like, none of it matters.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the grand scheme of it is like none of that is real.
He hurt the kid's feelings.
But he hurt the kid's feelings on something that the kid shouldn't even be pulled into anyway
Yeah.
because it's all fake.
No, what I haven't. I mean, I did see a clip of this, but what was the public reaction? Have you?
I mean, of course, a bunch of people dressed up as Santa went to the little boy's house and brought him Nerf guns, and they all said, "I'm the real Santa, and I'm going to save you and show you that Santa does exist," and get him Nerf guns. And the little boy's like, "Yeah, who else got shit for me? Come on!" But it's like, so all they did was reinforce the dumb. Lie even more.
Right.
But now the boys, he's not gonna be
got embarrassed.
dumb. He's not gonna be dumb about it though.
Yeah.
I'm sure he knows like, okay, something's up with this Santa stuff.
right,
You know what I mean? But if he's gonna keep giving me gifts, I'll take it. But
Right. And this was just an opportunity for this guy to just interject his own social ideologies.
why would you do that to a
Why
4-year-old
not?
boy?
He has that.
Yeah,
Like-
but you see how surface it all is.
Yeah.
Like to say, well, if you aren't good, you're not gonna get gifts.
Yeah.
Right.
That's creating in somebody such a surface level of being good
Yep.
that it's horrible. It's
So if
almost-
I'm good, I get things.
yeah.
Right.
Tiffany said, "Wow, that's a mean Santa." Tia said, "That's crazy. The last I heard when I was young was if you bad, you get coal." See, that's a real thing. If you're bad, you get a lump of coal for Christmas.
Yeah. A lump of coal.
Well, that's what Santa gave you, right?
Yeah. Santa
To all
gave
the
all the
naughty-
naughty kids
all the
a
naughty
lump
kids.
of coal.
Right. But it's all in the wonderment of the whole thing, the Christmas tree, the Christmas light. Because honestly, that's all tied into the wizardry of it.
Yeah.
The decoration and all that stuff like that.
Think about wizardry, right? Think about like
Santa has a wizard hat, by the way. Just want to.
He's Gandalf.
you think of how it, but it is. It's like to be honest with you, wizards are just like a twisted Moses. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
literally,
It
Moses
is.
had a staff.
It's an
Like,
inversion of Moses.
It's an
Yeah.
inversion. And what it? But
That is
Moses,
a good point.
Moses literally went to the wizards and
Moses didn't have a hat. Though,
He didn't have a hat though.
that we know
Well,
of. He
'cause
might
they
have had
twisted it. But I guarantee you, those Egyptian sorcery people probably had some
Right.
hats. that
They definitely had hats.
They did.
But my point is, like,
You're right. I'm thinking of Mickey Mouse and the Fantasia thing.
Yeah.
They wore hats.
Yeah.
It looks like a Santa hat.
but it's
Yeah.
all like just a twist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On what the truth is. Like, this is something I was thinking about. all these movies that people love, right? Even like Star Wars, that people like fantasize on, all these weird wizardry movies,
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones series, but still, yeah.
Definitely Lord of the
Harry
Rings.
Potter.
Lord of the Rings.
Harry Potter's a huge
Yeah,
one.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Dude, the Bible is like not just the surface of it, but when you really know the story,
If you're saying like if someone took the time to
The parallels.
to put that on the screen and show
and
the
really
allegory,
show
yeah,
what was to really just show the actual story,
right,
it's killing all those stories,
Right, right.
like
They're all
killing.
copying that.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
all copying it in a way.
these epic tales, right?
But like it's not even in the same realm. And the problem is like you get the BS, like
Right.
like the Noah. They did a Noah movie a few
Dude,
years
that came
back.
on today.
Yeah, I saw it
you
on
saw it?
The one with
something.
Russell Crowe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and literally it came on, and Liz was like, "Why is there a giant rock?"
Yeah,
man?" Like,
giant rock.
Dude,
They got it
destroys. It destroys
Right.
the meaning. So then it's like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all these stories, the point of the real point of Jesus, like, and what he did and the backstory behind it, like, why do you think that hasn't been done in Hollywood?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because if the true meaning behind it and the true like
If it infects
wonder,
people,
because you're
right.
talking about wonder,
Right.
right? Because like
If that goes viral,
because
you
all
know what I
the
mean?
wizardry is just a false wonder.
Right.
It's just a false magic. But like the true like power of God is is the real thing
Yeah.
that destroys all that fake magic.
And the
You know what I
wizardry
mean?
is really the enemy's way of attracting you because he
Yeah.
knows there's no truth behind
Yeah,
it.
it's an
Yeah.
attraction.
If I
Right.
can get you to be attracted to it,
Right.
you'll get caught up in the wonder of it.
Right. It's like, you know, like a woman, like with all that makeup on,
Mm-hmm.
she looks amazing. But then when you really see her, it's like, you know, the whore of Babylon
Yeah.
versus the bride of Christ. Like,
Right, right.
It's all the adornment of the world, and you're like enthralled by this. But when you actually see the actual bride of Christ, it pairs in comparison. You ain't going after Babylon anymore.
Why don't you think like certain Christian they haven't like at least for kids done it in like an animated, like you know what I mean, to
Yeah.
draw them in. Like
There's,
you know what I
there's
mean?
been some.
Yeah,
Some
That's just
it
such a
hasn't
great
been done
story
in a
to
It
be
major
hasn't
told.
way.
been done.
I
like
think
on
because of the people that run Hollywood, that's not something that they're interested
Yeah.
in doing.
They don't put money behind it.
Yeah.
Real quick, Kathleen says, "I never like the idea of Santa and what bit shows kids. Oh, what it shows kids.
man.
And then she said, it's a lie to teach kids to be good. What? Well, I don't know what that means. A lie to teach kids to be good.
Who says that?
Kathleen, she wrote that in the next comment.
Or
Just talking about being good
Yeah,
to get
convince
gifts
them.
later on
Yeah.
Oh,
from
to lie,
Santa.
To lie maybe
Yeah.
means
Yeah.
to lie to be good. Like
it's
to
a
get
lie
kids.
to teach kids to be good. That's what she
yeah,
said.
maybe like you're
Yeah,
lying
coax
to
them
teach
into-
kids
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
good.
yeah.
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 But isn't that speaking to you though? Like rather than do actual parenting, you're gonna trick them
Yeah.
to do right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather
It
not.
definitely does.
I'd rather not do good parenting. I'll trick you.
That's
Santa's
why,
gonna get you.
Yeah.
again,
Santa.
it's surface. You're not building a real relationship with your kids.
Right.
You're not like
Right.
connecting to well, what do you think? What do you
Right.
like really drawing on how they feel in their heart? So it's never going to come out. You're teaching them to suppress how they really feel because you're not really dealing with the heart of any matter.
Yeah.
You're
To
just
only care, to only put in the work when you want something.
Yeah, yeah.
And if
yeah.
you think about it, like a lot of times, why do parents want kids to be good anyway?
so they leave them alone.
So they leave them alone. But when they're around people, it's so,
so
don't
they
embarrass me.
Right.
Right.
You know
Don't
what I mean?
embarrass me.
Don't embarrass
And
me.
you know what's crazy? I was saying this not too long ago. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, you know what I remember about Christmas in the Caribbean? I remember the neighborhood we lived in. Everybody, there was music and there was food and there was people generally did behave nicer.
Yeah.
but it wasn't.
Weren't we just talking
We were
about
talking
this?
about that.
It
Yeah.
wasn't
a spirit.
It wasn't. But it wasn't, the marketing wasn't there.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
didn't see, but
Yeah.
but there was food and there was smell and there was family and there was things being baked and it was I did feel it. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But there was no toys. We didn't have a
yeah.
Christmas
Spirit
tree.
of God, man.
That's what we were talking about this on Sunday about how even because a lot of people they always poo-poo the idea of Christmas because it's not really
When you're
Jesus'
ultra religious.
Yeah, it's not the
Tied to
real birth,
paganism,
and it's
yes.
attached to paganism
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
worship of the winter solstice and you know what I mean, that whole thing. But we were talking about how like even in that, God can turn that into a time that people do honor Him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
I remember when we were growing up, like even though there was more marketing, it wasn't as bad as it is now when we were kids. Like, yeah, of course, commercials were there, toys and stuff like that, and all the Christmas marketing. But there was this air of like people being in the Christmas spirit
Right.
and just being nice to one another and loving your neighbor and like,
Even the songs.
yeah,
like,
the songs. Like
Yeah.
we used to go out on Christmas Carol. Remember that?
Yeah.
We used to knock on people's doors. Can you imagine people doing that now?
Right.
Going out on Christmas caroling?
Right. Right.
and just and it's really like just sharing,
Right.
sharing. And I think that's the point.
Yeah.
It creates an
Something
atmosphere that is different. Like it's not about now it becomes more about like what am I going to get,
Right.
or like well, you gave me a gift, so I got to give you a gift. Oh
Yeah.
man, this is so stressful. You know what I mean? Like it becomes such a crazy.
Yeah. Tia said, I want to know, what did y'all say to Santa for Christmas when y'all were in your younger years? Well, you're looking at a very unique room right here because me and Jake, our father told us from the moment we could listen that Santa wasn't real.
Yeah.
And these two guys
We're
are
foreign.
foreign.
Yeah.
So
They grew up in
We couldn't afford a tree.
so they grew up in a whole nother
yeah,
environment.
yeah, there was
you
no
know.
Santa for me.
Yeah. John told
But-
you his story.
But you know what? Honestly, like I said, even though, I when I came, I was 14. It didn't make sense culturally, but in a sense, it didn't make me feel bad. Like even though people were like, "Really?
Yeah.
No Santa? No Christmas? No holidays?" I already had existed in a place where that feeling of family and togetherness outweighed that.
Because that wasn't real. Because that is just the tradition that you can kind of do or not
Right.
do.
Right.
And that's the key with like Jesus
Right.
and the law. Because it's like, okay, you can do it or not.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do it, go ahead.
Right.
If you don't want to do it, it's okay too.
Right.
The point is that you got to do it with a clear conscience.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? What is your conscience on the matter?
Right.
And do you do it from your heart?
Right. What's
You
your
know what I mean?
intent?
Yeah.
Right, the intent of your heart. And I think that's the key to
Yeah.
it all. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing it for? Because if you're doing it to make yourself feel okay with your family, that's not really a good intent. If you're doing it to make your family feel happy or because somebody did it so you got to do it, or you're doing it because you want to fit in with America. You know what I mean? That's not really the right intent either.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Kathleen said we were not told Santa was real. Oh, Rachel, what about you? What was yours?
I think my parents told me like okay, like get ready for Santa, and they would put out the milk and cookies when I was like real young, but my parents are a little real too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's like an element of this is make believe and fun
Mm-hmm.
that I think was always there, even if they didn't outrightly say it. And then once I got to be like 5 or 6, like I don't know what happened. I must have said something smart, and my dad was like, "We gonna be wrapping all these presents tonight." Like that's
Yeah,
where
yeah.
that comes from.
Right.
Like it wasn't this like long drawn out. But even after I knew that Santa wasn't real, like my mom would still put out the cookies,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next morning, like the cookies would be gone, and it was more like, you know what I'm saying? Like she would write a little note about whatever she wanted to portray about the Christmas spirit, and like
Uh-huh.
leave that like.
So
Yeah.
it
love
seemed
Santa.
like it was more for her.
I
You know
think
what I mean?
it was one of those things where it's like, okay, well, you have a little kid, you want to do all the magic. And for my mom, actually, both of my parents, too, their childhoods were such that Christmas was rough, R-U-F-F, rough. So I think when they had me, and especially in my younger years, when they had just like bought our house in South Philly, like everything was going good, there was money to buy some gifts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was like,
They were like, we're going to give you
we're
what we
gonna
never had.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
That's
But
it, yeah.
I was also like sharp with it.
Right.
So as soon as it was never like, we're going to pull the wool over her eyes or really like keep this going as long as possible.
Right.
Same thing with the tooth fairy. Like they put
Yeah.
money under my pillow and I started getting like, well, first it was $1, then it was $3 and it was $5. So for the next tooth, I'm probably going to get $15. And mom was like, nah, that's all me.
Yeah.
Like,
ain't
don't
gonna
get
answer
carried
that.
away.
Right,
Like,
right.
be grateful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like you do it, and then for parents, it's like you do it because it's fun, but then you realize, all right, they got it already. Like it's
Yeah.
not fun anymore.
You want to see the wonderment in their eyes, but then it's like a false thing.
Right.
So,
And on the other end, it's like you do things, like you said, you you go through things in your life that had torment connected to it, that
Right.
had
Right.
a tough life. You don't want your kids to go through that.
Mhm.
So you try to do it differently, which is a good intent,
Right.
but it just might be off in how you do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like what we played a few weeks ago, about a month ago, with that actor speaking about
yeah.
growing up.
I was
in
thinking
in
about
the
that.
depression.
The boomer parents.
Yeah, the boomer parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their desire, because of the things that they've gone through, is to almost kind of over provide for their children.
Yeah.
But not really, with the benefit of hindsight, not really looking back to see, well, was the gift giving and all the things that I did, was it because of what I went through?
Right.
Or, and
What
what are we
was I
creating?
doing to make a better human,
Right.
or what was I doing just to
Right.
overcompensate for
And
what
we have
I missed out on?
overwhelming amount
Yeah.
of evidence to see that
Right.
so many people say that story,
Right.
but what is it really leading to?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are those people that you're providing all this stuff, are we essentially making better people, or is it they're just happy they get the gift and that's
Yeah.
it? You know what I mean?
And that's where we love out of our hurt. Like we want to love somebody, but we don't know how to give them the love that's going to actually help them,
Right.
help
Right.
their need.
Right.
We love them from our lack,
Right.
from where we lacked.
And I
Yeah.
think as I got older, my parents did a good job. Like that might have been going on like really young, like 3-4 years old. But then as soon as I came online, my brother was born when I was like 7. When I started paying attention, like we would go over the aunts and uncle's house, right? And there was like the huge tree and like all these gifts. And it's like, wow, right? And I would always kind of like feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's fancy, you
Yeah.
know? Like, okay. But my parents, once my brother came into the picture, there were 4 of us and they were like, look, we paying for the school tuition and these piano lessons and these cello lessons, and there's a lot of money going out.
Right.
So there's 4 of us. Everybody buy 1 gift. Everybody will get 3 gifts, just like Jesus did. Bada bing, bada boom. Have some
Bada bing,
popcorn
you
and
know
some
what I'm
nuts.
saying? Like,
Hence,
And-
they
and-
were
and-
Italian.
hence Italianos.
And then the other thing too is when you become an adult, you can't really rationalize the children. Like the people who are doing that big tree with all the presents, you don't know that maybe that's really all they have to offer.
Oh, disaster.
Right.
Everything
Right.
in their life is
Right.
like.
You don't know that.
Right.
Yeah.
That next week they're getting a divorce,
Yeah, yeah.
or they're cheating, or the one is on coke. But this is the best that they could do. You know, you don't know. So you're looking at that. I mean, but
It's
you
like
can't explain that to
judging
a kid,
people's
though.
life from
Yeah.
Instagram,
Right.
or
you
Facebook.
can't explain
like,
it to
yeah.
a kid.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that.
And I remember my dad used to always say, like, when he would tell us, like, I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that Santa Claus is real, because if I lie, tell you Santa's real, the Tooth Fairy's real, the Easter Bunny's real, and all these things are real, and then I'm trying to tell you about God, then you're just
Discrepancies.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, you
This is
lied to
very
me
true.
about all these
Right,
other
right,
things.
right.
Well, how am I supposed to believe in this God you speak of? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, like I even picked up in him that it was a little bit on the pride side too.
Oh, of course.
Because it was like,
You ain't
you know.
gonna be tricking my kids
Yeah,
out
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. My kids ain't gonna be out here.
yeah, exactly. So like you can lean that way
Yeah,
too.
right,
You know, there's
Right.
a balance. You know,
I'm interested. What's gonna be your approach with Sophia? Because she's still like
Right.
very young.
Well, I think for me, my approach is going to be. I mean, obviously, I can't recreate Trinidad, but what I do want to teach her is Christmas is about family. It's about a celebration, and it's about honoring God. Even though we know that that's not his birthday, I can't explain it to her as a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's the overall honoring. Of,
This is the day we celebrate
we're
the fact that
honoring.
he was born.
Yes, we're honoring that. We know it's not this time.
Yeah.
We're honoring, but what I want her to understand is that Christmas is going to mean her mother and I working as a team,
Right.
loving one another,
Right.
loving you.
Yeah, yeah.
All of these things mean that we love you. Yes, we want to get you things, and we're not doing it because we want to outdo your cousins or
Right,
those
right,
people.
right.
And it's going to be hard because at this young age, she's not going to get any of that. She's just want to rip paper.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
What's next? They all do that.
Right.
It's like-
But here's what's gonna take.
Right.
It's gonna take me as a dad, not just and the Lord, that's the devil hot. What
Yeah.
I gotta do is I gotta wake up in the morning and I gotta make cookies with her. And I gotta talk with her.
Right.
And I gotta spend time playing with
You
her.
gotta wear your pajamas.
I will. I'll do it because I want her to understand that I do care. I just as much as I care about this. When it comes time for me to talk about things that are passionate, I want you to pay attention to me.
Right.
It's love, and I'm showing you love. So now let's share in this.
Right.
And I'll teach you. And as she gets a little older and whatever, I'll start enlightening her a little bit more. Like, well, that doesn't exist, and here's why.
The one thing I hate is when people say, well, it can mean whatever it means to you.
Right.
In terms of a lot of stuff. Like
Yeah.
I was in Philly, and I was reading about the Liberty Bell, like what they had up about it, and
Yeah.
and they had the quote from Leviticus 25, and they threw that in there, like, but this means whatever it means.
Whoa, okay.
Just to offset
Yeah.
it. Like, no, there was a meaning behind what was said in Leviticus.
Wait, where they put that? They didn't put it on the bell, did they?
No, not on the bell.
It was on,
just
like, the
describing
plaque,
right?
the bell.
Oh.
It was actually just a paper.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
it was like taped up on the window. But
Right.
but that's
So wait.
Some guy
So
with a
the
chisel.
bell itself has Leviticus etched into it.
Leviticus 25.
So they had to
they had
counteract
on the
that
side.
with a piece of paper. They fact checked the bell.
They're like, disclaimer.
They fact checked the bell.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So
The Bible is fine, but maybe not, but whatever, okay?
but I love that it can mean so many things, that it's a fullness of a meaning.
Right.
That you can see perspectives, but it all leads back to the same meaning. That's different than it meaning whatever it means to you.
Yeah.
So like what James is saying, I love hearing what people talk about how it means, what it means to them in terms of pointing back to God, but a different perspective. Just like the scriptures. What does it mean to you that God showed you
Right.
about it?
Right.
Because there's always different aspects that
Yeah.
we learn from other people. That's why we
Yeah.
come together. That's the point of family.
Yeah.
We
That's a
come
good-
together
that's a
and
good
everybody's...
thing. That's a good idea. I'm gonna use
Yeah.
that because you know what? I want to get her to vocalize what does it mean to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And start her right there. Like,
Right.
what does this mean to you? Like, what does it mean
Yeah.
to you? And let her, and then coach her in that way to say, yeah, because I feel like, okay, a perfect example of what I'm trying to say is she, in the morning, she just wants pancakes. I used to give her oatmeal. She doesn't want oatmeal anymore. She wouldn't eat eggs. But I realized if I sit her on the countertop and I'll help her crack the egg, I help her do it, she eats it because she's involved.
She's
in it.
involved.
So I'm like, where does she go from? We make the eggs, we put it in a thing, and she's just like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So now I help her crack it, and she puts it in there, and she takes the in the wrong hand, and
Yeah.
she's like,
yeah.
she's, and she add her little seasoning to it, and we make it,
Yeah.
and she had a hand in it,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's gonna be my approach is. I want to be a part of this,
Right.
and then we can have this conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then you care about it. But when it's just in front of you, it's like,
No, yeah,
I don't
she's
care about
not
that.
interested. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now she tells me, I want eggs and pancakes, Daddy. You know?
That's what's up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like my dad and your dad.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
pagan, and
Right.
you're like, God dang, but I want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to be in the wonderment of it, and I don't think that they understand what it. Or they forget what it feels like to be a kid, too. You know what I mean? That the kids, even though Jakey's asking that, he doesn't know everything you
Yeah.
know. He's not going to be able to put all that together.
Yeah.
But by having this conversation, at least working with them in that, sometimes.
But the thing is,
they'll
like
actually
when
come
you
around.
talk, like you see his eyes open up, like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
wow. So I didn't realize that. Like you start to see it. But they come to you. They
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Now they're open because they're asking you. You
Yeah,
don't got to
yeah,
tell.
yeah.
This is what it means, and this is but
right. We're copying televangelists and very radical Christians when we sound like that.
Yeah.
Those type of like doctrinal kind of guys. Because my dad listened to a lot of that, and Christians do. It comes from that place. They're imitating those guys.
Yeah.
yeah.
So when you ask them a question, they want to copy that.
What?
No, because we were talking about this. Because a lot of it's funny that a lot of Christianese
Christianese.
this
I like
it be-
it. Well, that's
you get like the you
Christianese. It's a language.
it's a language like you get traditional stuff that creeps in, and then people start to like say it, and it becomes
they
it
mimic
rubs
it.
off on
They
everybody,
mimic it.
and it cracks me up all the time.
That's what I was laughing when Mom played that song and she got a little offended.
Yeah.
Because they was doing all the Christianese
Right.
runs on the
Yeah, and people don't realize that when
Yeah.
you're in it.
Right.
And so like one thing that I hear a lot that Christians like pastors say, and I still listen to them. It's not like I'm not saying
watching right now.
I won't listen to them because
My mom said Sophia's so cute, by the way.
yo, that picture that I saw of her, was it at Thanksgiving, I think? She had like the
Liz
little
braided her hair?
She had like the the wrap on her head or something.
Yeah. I think so.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, so cute, so cute. Anyway, yeah, forgot to tell you that. But no, I think it was a picture with Shaniqua
Oh yeah.
on her birthday.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah.
That's what it
thank
was.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Excuse me, Jamie.
But getting back to this. So again, I'm pointing these things out, but this is stuff that I laugh at. But it doesn't mean that like I'm sitting there criticizing them
Or
and not
dismissing it.
dismissing
Right,
what they
right,
say.
right.
But when people say all like this is just one example, like they're speaking like telling a story, and I began to think, and I began to
Right.
search the scriptures,
Right.
and I began to
Right.
wonder why, and I began
Right.
like that's one thing that
And the Spirit of the Lord said to me. It's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like these phrases
Yeah.
that like they in the way they say it. It's like that's something that you hear everyone
But
say.
because they're trying to project anointing.
yeah.
I think it's just because I know
learned.
there's people
It's
who are
learned.
straight up genuine. I think it's just again, like you said, it's learned and it becomes a part of tradition
Yeah.
that if you do it or you don't, like it doesn't make you any different. It's just
It's
stuff
it's
pe-
no
people
different
pick up.
than when you find yourself saying phrases that are the new trendy phrase
Right.
as a part of pop culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing.
Right.
It's just a different culture. Those are the phrases. You know.
But it starts to become a problem when you feel like you have to say these things.
Yeah.
That's where it becomes a problem, you know. And so it's like you can say them or not say them. It's not going to change.
Right.
Like you got to recognize what God is doing through somebody's life and how they're speaking.
right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think too, it's like a lot of it comes from what you consume. You're going to imitate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're sitting there listening to Charismatic, or you're listening to Hell and Damnation, or you're listening to like Free and Wonderment, Carl Lentz kind of things. You ever guys heard about that guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We did a whole.
You did a whole thing on Hillsong.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you whatever you tune into, if you're attracted to the thing or the man, you're gonna imitate him or her. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with Paula White speaking to demons and angels in
Africa.
in Africa, whatever it is. You're imitating that, and so like my dad and people like him, you know, your dad with the it's a lie, it's a this. They're not when you guys are so little. They're coming from that place where no one's gonna trick you, but they gotta tell you with so much passion. You're like, you know, your approach is a little different with your kids. You know what I mean?
Would you be
It's the same thing.
Would you be talking about your dad so much if you knew your dad was watching?
Yeah, I would. I have told him. I have told my dad plenty of times. His approach is where it's wrong because he becomes so dogmatic that he like there's no other way. This is what I've been told. I was telling Jamie when my dad was younger. My dad has always been seeking truth. He's a self-taught man and he knows a lot, but he cannot let go of things that were not necessarily false, but their direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's Jamie Munchen.
I'm sorry.
And
I was
me
I was
too.
chewing all on
And
the mic.
me.
Someone mentioned it on the comment.
So I think sometimes it's that when you, with the elders in the body of Christ, they have a certain way,
Yeah.
and then you have the opposite now, where it's like, let these kids do what they want. Let
Let
them
them be. That's the Carl Lentz.
right,
That's
right.
Yeah, and
It's the era of that.
So when you look at it, like it's funny because like what happened to like you were talking about the guy who came out of the Great Depression is because of what he dealt with.
Right,
He
right.
wants to be the opposite,
Yeah.
and it's
How
the
do I
same
fix this?
thing. Kind of like what Rachel was talking about. Same thing, like with her family, and we all do it. Like my mom, I never was. She used to always say like, I never was really told that my parents loved me, so I told you guys all the time. but that didn't change the stuff we had to go through. But I know her heart was in the right place.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
But it still didn't change anything. You know what I mean? Like so my point is that all it does is just shift the dichotomy. Like it changes things in reverse, but you're still under the cycle. And that's actually the story of the flux capacitor that I
Before you get into that, couple comments. Tiffany said, "Are you guys going to make a Christmas album?"
no. But we do got a couple.
a few.
We have a couple
songs
Christmas songs
that we did with Leon Huff.
Yeah.
It's on iTunes.
Yeah, it's on Apple Music, and I don't know if it's on Spotify, but
You guys are like, the Christmas thing is, you know what? Check out that album. You know what's gonna go buy that album? There you
someone
go.
asked that. Hey, but we made it.
We like Christmas songs.
Yeah, especially like ones that are, like the one we do with the little medley with Christmas Time is Here, Little Drummer Boy and stuff like that. Like we'll do Christmas songs, but
classic.
to do a Christmas album, it's just so overdone, and it's like it's hard to beat the classics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I actually like the old stuff too.
yeah, every time I hear someone do a new interpretation of Christmas music, it's always like, you know,
Yeah.
Heard it all before.
yeah.
Something was playing like a Christmas mix the other day at my folks' house, and on comes like Justin Bieber, and I forget what song it was, but I was like, "Yo, shut that off!"
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
can't,
yeah.
mentally I
He's
can't.
turned his life around.
Tia said Doritos is the bomb. Cool Ranch is my favorite.
Yeah.
Have you tried these?
Those are our favorite right there.
Jamie and Moan are
Have
hungry.
you tried
There-
these?
Those are sweet and spicy
We
chili.
have those every week on
Yeah,
the
they are good.
And the thing is, I forgot to get them this week, and we stopped at Royal Farms so John could get a sandwich, and he got a bag of those because we usually have them every week.
It's pretty good.
So, did you try them again?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I will. I don't want to be crunchy.
But yeah.
We don't care.
But it's crazy that like we just go on this cycle. Like our parents didn't want us to go through these things, so they do something, but then they don't really give us the real thing because they don't know how to. But they're still trying to love us.
Yeah, yeah,
So
sure.
you gotta honor it.
It's
like,
real love. It's
but then
real
it
love,
just
yeah.
be
It's a pendulum
twisted.
that swings,
Yes.
and it ends up swinging too
It
far.
just keeps going back and forth.
It's
you know?
you ever hear that saying that hard times make strong men,
Yeah.
strong men make good times make soft men, and then the cycle just continues. You know
So
what I mean?
It's like
It's just
it's this flow.
It's a pendulum that goes
Yeah.
back and forth.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's kind of like that.
Flux capacitor.
Okay, flux capacitor. Let's bring it up. Jake wants to get into some 80s stuff here.
Capacitor.
It's kind of interesting. Has to do with quantum physics and you know.
Quantum physics.
So while he's pulling this up, everybody knows about. Well, maybe not
Can
everybody.
you pull it
but
up, Rach? Because I can't get. To
most people know
It's on the,
about Back to the Future and the flux capacitor was the thing.
If
that
they don't, people that
powered-
don't know, yeah, go into it.
It was the thing that powered the DeLorean that brought them back into the past, and he
I
had to
never
get it.
watched that movie, by the way.
You
Really?
Wow.
Oh
You're
man,
crazy.
That's Nita's favorite movie.
yo,
I never watched it.
I own them all.
You don't
so
celebrate
You can watch it.
Christmas the way we do?
you don't like the things you haven't experienced what we've experienced. No,
I have
but
to watch it. I have to
from a
watch
guy who watches like
I
old
don't-
movies,
You know what? It never. I
It
just
didn't appeal to you, the time travel thing.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know.
You would think it would.
More like the old school ones. That one was too silly to me.
So you liked like H.G. Wells,
Yeah.
Time Machine.
But I'll check it out.
I
You
mean,
gotta watch it, man.
there's a lot of like crazy stuff. Like
I mean, you got to get past the fact that his mom wants to sleep with him.
there's
I think
a
that was
weird
very
stuff in there.
prevalent in the 80s. Yeah.
So this is saying scientists invent real life flux capacitor, but not for time travel. But in a way, it kind of has to do with time travel, but maybe not in the way you think. So
Explain.
I will. So Back to the Future, the flux.
Oh shit.
The flux
We
capacitor.
give no flux around here. You know what I'm saying? We don't give a flux around this podcast.
We do give a flux capacitor. So, actually, I got this because I was looking at Fabian's shirt, and this is where I got it from, and then I just started looking it up.
Real quick before you get into it, Tia says there's a hack that you can turn Doritos into nachos. Yeah, it's called putting cheese and meat on top of them. They are nachos. They're literally called.
Maybe she means take the sauce. I mean, take the
Yo,
stuff off of it.
I went to a restaurant and they were selling nachos. They came in a Dorito bag. It was Doritos with nacho cheese and meat on it. That was $10. And it was the little bag.
So they just took the little bag and
little
poured
bag.
some meat and
Why
cheese
not?
inside.
If you're lazy enough to not do it,
Yeah.
good for you.
Okay, so he had the shirt on and it said, obviously he works at H&M. I think he got it from H&M, but it said powered I can't say that.
This brother's letting loose out here. Lord, you done won.
Sorry, Lord. Satan done won that.
Satan done won this round. Oh, Satan done won this round.
Oh my god.
The devil like pops out the closet like, got him.
So powered flux capacitor, right?
Gotta slow down on that one.
Yeah. And then it was Back to the Future. So I was like, power. I don't know why, like, the powered part really stood out to me, right? And then, so I went and looked up, like, capacitor flux. And, it started to open up to me. And then I came across this article, and it was speaking about the real flux. Now every time I say it, I gotta think.
Tia said, "Hey, watch
The
your mouth.
real flux
Watch your mouth.
capacitor. So, what was interesting?
Mom said, Jake, stop cursing.
So what was interesting about this is that it says so. Okay, let me just break it down. So, capacitor is something that is able to store energy, right? So, like, say there's a battery, you would use a capacitor to like control that energy, which is the magnetic energy, which is a magnetic flow of positive and negative electrons, right? Flux means it's the amount of something flowing or moving, right? So that's what flux is. It could be the flux they call it for blood, like it's a flux when it's keeps flowing and it doesn't stop, right? So water, whatever, energy is a flow, again, flux. So we can become like a flux capacitor in a way. We can store energy, and when we can give it out, we can flow with it, right? So anyway, I'm not going to get to that yet. But what this was saying was that they created a real flux capacitor, and it uses the quantum tunneling of magnetic flux around a capacitor, breaking time reversal symmetry. The law of time reversal symmetry. This is quantum physics. Okay. So time reversal symmetry is this law that something that happens will be the same thing that happens in reverse, right? So, like, if you film somebody throwing a ball in the air, right? If you play it backwards, it looks like the same thing.
Okay.
That's what it kind of means. Like, it's the same thing. And I'm trying to break this down more. So this means signals circulate around circuits in only one direction, much like a car going around a roundabout. It's a flow that like has to go through a cycle, but you can actually break that cycle. So it's a mirror thing. Trying to figure out where I wrote this down. I guess I didn't write it down, but it's kind of like a mirror. That's what it is. Symmetry.
Okay.
Right. So symmetry has to do with a mirror, right? Something that's symmetrical, right? Our one side is not symmetrical. What?
No, we know what symmetry is.
Okay. I'm just going into it deeper. So
They might not know.
Oh, okay.
but it's something that like let me see if I can find this. Okay, here we go. So there was one definition of symmetry.
Tiffany's
Paul
laptop.
Horner said the beep capacitor.
Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Corresponding to size, shape, relative position of parts, opposite sides of a divided line, median plane, or about a center axis. So something that is like separated. So even a mirror, right? Think about a mirror. When you point into a mirror, it points back to you, right? So you can't break the plane. Like if you like, say you wanted to force something into a mirror, it's almost like it forces it back at you, right? So there's like this symmetry that happens in a mirror that you can't break.
Right.
But they found that it can be broken through this flux capacitor, or there's other ways to do it, but
What do you mean broken?
Yeah, like
the,
what?
The time, it being synced.
yeah, like so they found this like with molecules too. Like they flow in a certain direction, right? But so you can mirror them. Like if one's going this way, then the other one's going this way, right? But they found that when you slow it down in a certain time, like through manipulation, you can make them both go the same way, like through a mirror. So you can break the cycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it doing? Like, what is the?
You're breaking the time. You're breaking the time reversal cycle.
No,
So
I'm saying, like, what does that equate to in real life?
So okay. So what it equates to is, in terms of quantum computing, it makes signals more precise.
Okay.
And this has to do with Wi-Fi, mobile antennas, and radar. It makes it more precise and quicker,
Okay.
right? That's what it can do with this. But in terms of, I was thinking about it in terms of breaking cycles, you know, like we were talking about, like these cycles. One thing, like when you point at something, what happened?
Tia said, dude, stop munching.
Think about like in a mirror,
ASMR.
if you point, it's going to point back to you, right? So my point is that you never really break the cycle, but a flux capacitor has the ability to break the cycle. So I was just seeing this in terms of God.
Okay.
God, because a capacitor is something that is capable to have power, right? So God causes us to be like these capacitors that are able to carry his power, right? That actually break the time continuum or the time reversal symmetry, right? That break into time and cause things to flow in the direction that you want them to flow in. And that flow, because, or else it just continues the cycle. You get what I'm saying? But so it's harder. It's hard. I don't want to go through this, but the circle causes you to do it in a different direction, which limits the thing, and it causes a very slow motion of flow. But when you break that cycle, it just goes in a straight line, right? So it's about, like, literally, I was just saying this with God, like how he breaks our cycle, like karma, like what you sow, you reap.
Right.
You know, whatever you sow in the world, you're going to get back, right? He breaks that cycle through his power.
Right.
And you can even look at it the other way. If you, and it has to do with like the day breaking or the day dawning, right? That's a letter in the Hebrew. It's the qaf, and it's a symbol of a sun breaking over the horizon or going down over the horizon. See, the sun breaking is the breaker, right? So, meaning like we can, when the sun rises, we see, right? And if we see, then we can walk around. We have understanding. But when we neglect that, the sun sets, right? The sun sets, it means we can't see. It means darkness has come. So that's what happens with sin. That's what happens with, like, when you don't honor your house, you don't honor what has come from God, and you don't pay attention to all the mess that happened, but you pay attention to what God has done, and you focus on God the Father, you can raise up those foundations of many generations, right? And those things get raised up because you're focusing on the good thing, and the light shines, right? The light starts to break through. But when you focus on the bad, the negative, you're only looking at what's going on in the bad, then what you're doing as a household and a family is you're neglecting all your privileges. You're not paying attention to or appreciating all the good that has happened in your life, just like this country. Like,
Right. It's about being a pessimist and not honoring all of the blessings that you have.
yeah, and not even being able to see them because you're so focused on the bad. So then the sun starts to set on your life, and then you're living in darkness where you're straight up blind
Right.
and stumbling.
Right.
So it's that dichotomy of you're either going to live in straight darkness, and it might not happen right away, but it'll happen eventually, or you're going to live in the light,
Okay.
but it's both things kind of break through in its own way.
So the
you know.
flux capacitor.
The
How
flux
does that-
capacitor is the thing that powers. It's the thing that kind of it's the thing that has the capacity to carry that power, right? And what does it do? Like, and I'm looking at it in terms of like a flux capacitor, even in the movie. It has the ability to go back in time and deal with the things that you couldn't deal with before because you're stuck in the present. And what was in your past, what shows your future. You get what I'm saying? And you can't go back and reverse the past, so you're stuck. So all your generational curses, everything that you've been cursed by your family, you're the ones who came before you, you're stuck. But when you trust in God, He empowers you with the breaker anointing, the break free from that. He breaks you free from that when you trust in Him, because you honor Him, because you fear Him, but you actually honor your own line by honoring Him. You get what I'm saying? And you can go into your past and destroy every curse that's come on your past, which literally is the light shining, because the curses is the darkness. You've fallen into darkness. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he was just showing me that dichotomy of like Back to the Future and how flux capacitor is kind of a thing that it was a cool thing that it kind of represents us and how we can be things that harness the power of God if we trust in God. And if we don't, we have no power. Literally, like if we don't trust in God, we won't have the power to do anything in our lives, and we'll have to keep on going through this time reversal symmetry that just shows us the mirror of who we are that we can't get past, and we're gonna hate that image that we see because we're pointing at it and it's pointing right back at us. You know what I mean? So I thought that was interesting.
Very interesting. All right, I want to play this video real quick. This is the governor.
I love this Pope. He said, well, I'm not a Marxist, but I know a few Marxists, and they're pretty good people. So hard.
Who's this?
to discover
This
and
is the
to
dude
hear
running for Senate in
authentic
Georgia.
vision and voice of authentic spirituality that gives voice to the least of these, that when it shows up, people describe it as some strange ideology rather than the vision of that poor Palestinian prophet who said that the Spirit of the Lord is upon me because God has anointed me to preach good news to the poor.
Just wanted to play that.
Jesus
Did you
was a
did you hear what he
Palestinian,
said? He called Jesus a Palestinian prophet.
The poor Palestinian.
Poorest Palestinian prophet.
What?
So who is this guy?
This is the dude running for Senate in Georgia. The runoff's going on right now.
Oh,
Yeah. This is the dude. So
gonna
he
eat
was
him
out there
like-
talking.
Democrat?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So he was talking about Marxism. I know a few Marxists. And then he started talking about how the ideology is,
He knows a few Marxists and they're good people.
they're good people. And he starts talking about how like people don't want to hear about change, just like they didn't want to hear from a poor Palestinian prophet. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Like how you can pervert everything
Right.
that happens. Yeah.
Right.
When they
Okay.
can.
But these are the people that are running.
thought Jesus was a Jew.
That's what everyone was saying in the comments.
Let me make some chomping noise myself.
Make some chomping
Make
noise.
some
All right,
chomping noise.
let's watch a funny, quirky video by my boy Ryan Long,
Sexist.
who's been killing it on Twitter lately. This is rehab for Vice bloggers, and then right after this, I'm gonna show a Vice video that goes right along with this.
I see sexism, racism in comedy, and a minority that needs my help.
This is literally an apple. After leaving Vice, a lot of bloggers have trouble reacclimating into normal society.
I see a victim. It's another victim.
So this is a trailer.
Not enough women.
Well, let's just watch it first. So it's my job as a therapist to help them get in touch with the person they once were.
Kind of interesting. The whole place is all white.
Okay, you know what? Let's sit you back down. Let's get you back down.
I keep having this recurring nightmare where they need my help, but I can't help them without my Vice job.
Who needs your help, Daniel?
The Latinkses. Without blogging, I lost my sense of purpose.
You don't work there anymore.
I'm on a deadline. I see a white devil, an appropriator.
This is your mother. Try to look past gender and race.
I need a break.
My goal is for them to experience life again. So we're gonna do a little role play, and I want you to interact with me.
I'm so sorry.
No, just act normal.
Hi, would you like a beer?
See, isn't that
See family norms being shoved down my throat. There's not enough.
without looking for problems?
What, someone just has to stay at home? As a cisgendered white male, it looks like it's gonna rain.
Okay, now I want you to try it again, but without the first part.
It might rain?
See, now wasn't that better?
I don't know. I see a man who held a position only because of a rigged system. I need to tweet one thing.
No tweeting.
I have to. I have an
Okay,
observation.
you know what? Let's shut this down. Let's shut it down.
I have 2 Vice rings. How many do you have?
None, and that's okay. Because cold turkey can be a little too traumatic, it's important to wean bloggers off of their scolding.
Your face is driving me nuts.
Well, what is it about my face that's driving you nuts?
Piece of shit.
Okay, I think you've had your ration for today. We're gonna let you scold again after dinner. I want you to look yourself in the mirror and tell me what you see.
I see a colonizer. I see the problem.
Daniel, go deeper.
Speaking of mirrors.
Yeah.
Hey.
Now, doesn't that feel better?
Okay. No. So
Wow.
that was a funny video by him for people that work for Vice, and then right after that, this video by Vice.
It's a fine question. We got to wake you.
This went super viral on Twitter again today too. Because remember, Jake Paul just fought Nate Robinson and totally knocked him out like cold. It was one of the worst knockouts I've ever seen. You know, Jake Paul is a YouTuber, white dude. So
I just found out like last week that he actually fought.
It's funny that I showed you this video too, and you.
I was going to play it because this was the conversation they were having on Vice, one of their podcasts. Question of the week:
Was it racist to knock a black man out? That is the question of the week.
Stop asking me that. I said no.
It's not racist.
It's a shitty question. It's a sport.
Why
as
is it
we
a
say to
shitty
do.
question? Why is it a shitty question?
Because how does this have anything to do with race? It doesn't.
It's a fine question. We got to wake you up. You got to be a part of this conversation. That's right. Was it racist to knock a black?
So it went super viral because it was like, but this is Vice. This is Vice.
That's crazy.
Hold on, I gotta play it again so Rachel can hear it because I want to see her reaction to this. So you saw the Vice blogger thing, how he's making fun of people that work for Vice, how they see everything as a problem. So this was the dude Jake Paul, who's a YouTuber. He just knocked out Nate Robinson at the undercard fight when
ex NBA star.
Yeah, he's an ex NBA star, and when Roy Jones and Mike Tyson fought last week, he was one of the undercard fights. Like he's a boxer. So
Wait, Logan Paul?
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul,
Yeah.
his brother, right?
So wait, he fought somebody?
He fought somebody and
But,
knocked
like,
him out.
for a
boxing
publicity-
match. No, it was a exhibition boxing match. Yeah, it was like professional fight. Yeah.
They're both pro fighters.
They're talking about fighting Mayweather. Yeah.
And Mayweather.
Yeah.
Logan
Logan
Paul.
fighting Mayweather.
I didn't know they were fighters. I just thought they were idiots.
Yeah. Most people. Yeah. I think both.
They can actually fight though.
But so after watching that
Jake
Vice
Paul.
thing, it was just funny to follow up with this because this went viral today with the podcast on Vice where they had the question of the week, which was this.
Was it racist to knock a black man out? That is the question of the
No,
week.
stop asking me that. I said no.
It's not racist.
It's a shitty question. It's a sport.
Why is it a
Everything to
shitty
do.
question? Why is it a shitty question?
Because how does this have anything to do with race? It doesn't.
It's a
At
fine
least-
question. We got to wake you up. You got to be a part of this conversation.
That's right.
Was it racist?
Yeah.
The
So
other girl was laughing.
The other girl's laughing.
yeah. It's like
Because of how ridiculous.
it's ridiculous.
Like even in the world we live in, it's ridiculous.
But it's becoming to a point where it's not everything.
Where
She
is
was
it?
serious
Where-
with
is
that
she
question?
serious?
Yeah.
Is she
Like that-
serious?
I think
It seemed like she was serious.
yeah.
She definitely was serious.
Like for her to ask that, but at the same time, these are the outlets that are even pushing it
Yeah,
further.
that's what I'm
especially
saying.
Like Vice.
They keep
They're
pushing
it
that narrative
because that's where they get their bread and
their
butter.
bread and butter.
You know?
I just don't like what. So like,
How, though?
people of different races can't like fight now. Like it's not about a weight class. It's
I
about a
wa-
race
I watched
class.
that.
Only
fight.
if the black dude wins. If
you
he
watch
doesn't,
that
it's
fight?
racist.
Okay.
Nate Robinson's terrible.
yeah, I mean,
He
he
just went in like he didn't know how to fight at all.
Because he
Like,
probably doesn't. You know what I mean? He's an NBA
he's
player.
athletic, but
NBA.
he's not a-
yeah.
you know,
But didn't he fight his brother or something like that? John.
That's KSI.
Yeah, KSI.
KSI fought
won that.
But they're actually pretty good. They're both wrestlers. And there's a clip of them scrambling with UFC Paulo Costa, and they're holding their own.
I heard Paul gave him props. Like,
They're not. I mean, they made their fame on YouTube.
they were wrestlers
Yeah.
though, right? They weren't
They're
they like
wrestlers.
collegiate wrestlers?
Yeah, they're not. They're like 6'2", 6'1". Like they're not
Yeah.
little dudes. They're
big. They're big guys.
dudes. He severely outmatched Nate in physicality.
Mm-hmm.
Nate's just really athletic, but it was inevitable, and he had better skills.
I just thought it was hilarious. Like I saw another thing on Twitter where they were putting these articles side by side, where it's like one article says it's racist to keep the schools open.
Right.
Opening schools would be racist.
Right.
And then another article, closing schools is racist. Like,
Right. Well, I think
Everything
he
is
did. I
racist.
think he answered it. That's
yeah,
The
it has
best
nothing
way.
to do with race. But
Yeah.
it's just that I feel people
right.
being like pulled into this.
Yeah, and it's funny how it's a black woman.
Yeah.
like a white
I
woman
like to
isn't
see
gonna
where
ask that
it
question.
goes. I'm sorry to cut you off, but like where
I-
did you
that was
watch
the
the
only
rest
clip-
of it?
that was the only clip I
was the
saw.
only
He ain't
clip?
gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
That was her moment to sound, and he
It,
answered her.
All right.
That was
Moving on.
stupid.
I want to show everybody this article and just say, don't be alarmed. And this is real life.
I just saw this article.
China creating a generation of super soldiers using.
This is old news. They've been doing this, ain't it?
No. This is from 11 hours ago because this is the director of national intelligence, John Ratcliffe, who gave a talk talking about how they have intel on this and how like China is literally gene editing people to try to create super soldiers. And I saw another article that was talking about how China has been infiltrating all of our upper echelons of government, all of the college institutions. One of the dudes, Swalwell, was dating some chick who ended up being a Chinese spy, and he didn't know. And like she had worked her way into his situation and got close to him, and she was going to she was like in her late 20s, but she was going to college as like an undergrad student because she looked young, you know what I mean? So she played the part. They gave her whole fake identity and everything. But like, this is what they're doing. They're trying to infiltrate. And they apparently, according to him and according to the article that I read, because all of that was like, I think that was Pompeo that was talking about that in that article, where it was like, they have fully just like reach their tentacles into our whole situation, and a lot of these government officials are compromised by China. Yeah,
and you could tell with the agenda.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's what we're dealing with. You know, it's like it's a war, but it's like an undercover war.
Yeah.
You know,
Emma said that was hilarious. Can't believe she's being serious. Yeah, well, that was hilarious. Yeah, this is like a weird kind of Cold War that I think they're trying to like wait for the right moment
It's like an intelligence war, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
but also economic at the same time.
Of course.
You know.
Well, there's no way for them to really wage physical war anymore. It would
Yeah.
have to be cyber. It would have to be economic. That's the only way for them to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Mom, you were just on our live. Why are you calling me?
She's calling you right now.
Maybe it was by accident.
There was this other video. I was trying to find it, but it got deleted. It got pulled down. There was this Chinese college professor that was doing a talk, and he was saying that how people don't understand how much China has infiltrated our entire system here, and how all these politicians are bought off. Like, he was talking about it on all levels, and then that video ended up getting deleted. I was trying to find it.
Speaking of China, Dylan was telling me that they're doing, him and his cousin in Guyana is selling medical equipment now, and a lot of the supplies are from China.
Yeah.
These medical equipment, like it could be anything from dental chairs to like doctors' desks and stuff like that. And as they begin to research and find out, what's happening in Guyana, they found out that all of the 10 major construction companies in Guyana are all Chinese. You know, and the reason they're there is because of the diamonds and the gold and oil. They found oil, and they're offering to build them schools and roads.
Yeah. That's what they're doing in all of these countries, man. All these third world countries.
They're in Bahamas. They're everywhere. They're trying to take over the world.
They are.
And, and you're right. They're basically going in and they're buttering up to the politicians. And I mean, the politicians are presenting it very well to the public, which is, look at these things, we're going to do this. And
price is cheaper and this and that. Right. But this dude was literally saying that that they had it so on lock that it was just a given thing. But then when Trump got elected, it ruined everything. And now
that's why they're trying to...
Right, now that they believe Biden is elected again, they feel like everything's going to go back to normal.
Weren't they saying that Dominion has... the Dominion software has links to China? Like, I think they uncovered some of that.
I think the company is owned, like the majority of the company is owned by China. Yeah.
I know they won't let Huawei use like any major computers over
Yeah.
here, right? Like
Yeah.
major, like I know I watched this one, there was a small documentary about 15 minutes long, and it was about farmers in the Midwest, that the Chinese government were offering them big Intel like computer processors to
program their water systems and stuff like that.
And they were loving it because it was pretty much free.
Yeah,
and they would even come in and set it up for
them. But there was like spy software
built into it, and the farmers are like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm getting this for free.
Right.
You know, it would cost them like $100,000 to get it.
Right.
And they were like, oh, yeah, we'll come over there and put that for you.
Yeah.
Yep, it all has a cost. There's always a cost when something sounds too good.
Why is there always spy software embedded in everything China, TikTok?
But the thing
because
is, there's always someone willing
it
to do it. There's always someone like, yeah, sure. You know, you can do it.
Right, because they want free stuff, you know?
Same thing in Africa. They're doing the same thing.
Oh, they're doing it like crazy in Africa. Emma was talking about that too. And I saw it in Kenya, you know. They built all the roads and traffic lights and everything.
And that's really the only way they could do it is through bribery and through technology. You know, they couldn't necessarily wage war. They would, I mean, eventually that's going to come. But they got to do it through economics and, you know, through politics, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's what's been happening. I mean, all our stuff, how long, when we grew up, our stuff was coming from China.
Yeah.
You know, made in China was like the thing.
Or Taiwan.
Oh, by the time we, true.
You're not allowed to recognize Taiwan anymore, though.
By the time that we, like, you know, were kids, there was barely an American industry with a lot of things. You know, it was slowly getting removed. And, you know, like, I remember even, like, as a teenager, I'm like, well, if it's cheaper, like, my thinking, you know, but not realizing how irresponsible that thinking is.
Right.
When you don't understand and have the capacity to grasp it.
Right.
And that's exactly what we do with Amazon now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm going to buy it. It's going to be here in 2 days.
Right.
Very good point.
It's going to be, the convenience is what sells us, and we don't realize what we're giving.
We'll complain about it.
Because Amazon is doing the same thing China's doing. Amazon is taking all these products and stealing their intellectual property and then coming out with a version that undercuts them. And it's the same thing. And then they get rich.
Walmart does the same thing.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, like me and you were talking about this, it's all about the middleman.
Right.
You know, they're the middleman
Yep.
a lot of times. Like China's the middleman
Mhm.
in a lot of things. Amazon is the middleman because most people go on to sell their stuff through Amazon.
Yeah.
And you know, now it's becoming an issue. It's harder to do now.
Yeah.
So now people are going to like Walmart. That's becoming another thing. You know, Walmart's gaining,
Especially their
steam.
online stuff.
I mean, they're you got to admit they're in terms of a business model, they're really smart in the sense that they copy your algorithm. They figure out what sells, what doesn't sell. You have to do that. You have to give them.
They literally have all the analytics.
Wasn't that
on
what
what's
China
selling.
did? Come into our,
Yeah.
we'll make everything dirt cheap for you, but we'll steal your
Right,
technology.
right. And then they know how much you're ordering from them, so they know what's selling.
Right.
So the
You know
question
what
I have though is, okay, so you're a business and you want to sell on Amazon. Is it worth the destruction of your business to get on that platform and potentially make a lot of money one year and then be done the next year because Amazon put you out of
No.
business? Because so it's really your fault. You're thinking
Right.
of the greed.
You're-
I'm gonna make out big.
Right.
And then you're crying.
You
that
make
they-
a deal with the beast.
You make a deal with the beast.
You make a deal with the beast, and then it's that Faustian deal. Like, oh yeah, you will see success for a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you get bit.
Right, right.
And then you have a lot of people on YouTube and, you know, how to make money on Amazon. How
Yeah.
what do they call it?
Like a pitch man?
Affiliate?
No. There's a certain word they use for it, but I can't think of it right now.
I've seen them.
You talking about all those YouTube
Yeah.
guys that?
It's like a hip guy.
Yeah.
He has tattoos.
He's always.
Are you broke, dude?
No, he's always taking selfie videos in front of his Ferraris and stuff, and he's
Just
like,
hanging out
he's like,
here.
dude, just hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to know how I make this money, you know.
No, I make $400K a year.
Right.
Showing all his checks. This
Yeah.
check for 25,000.
Right.
You're falling for it.
Yeah.
It's like it goes back to the idea of what we were talking about earlier, which is business. Sometimes the greed and the lust of the eye is what gets people. You know what I mean? Like
It corrupts you.
It corrupts
And
you
then you make that
because you
deal.
want to go to Amazon and look at the platform.
Yeah.
And then Amazon's like, "Thank you for this, all this stuff. Now
Right.
we're gonna go make a cheaper version of this."
Right,
You know what I mean? Because we'll be you're gone. We'll figure out a way how to make this back.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know?
But that's been ingrained into our principles as business. Like
Right.
literally corporations, what do? They take over companies.
Yeah.
They learn you're a good strategist if you learn how to take over a company.
Yeah.
So
you know?
then,
Yeah.
so then you can't really even blame all of these socialist Marxists that come out and are pissed off and like,
Yeah.
well, why is everyone's so greedy? These corporations, they want to own everything, and then I'm in college debt, like they want all their college debt forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
You really can't blame them for the way they feel about it, even though I don't agree with the way they're going about things, but I understand why
there's-
people are lashing out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
there definitely is injustice in all that.
Right,
Obviously,
right.
there's definitely people trying to swindle you out of your property.
Right.
And all these things are in the Bible. Like
Yeah.
all these things is literally what God was talking about. You know. But also there's a time of Jubilee.
Yeah.
Where all your debts are forgiven.
Right.
You know, and that's what's on the Liberty Bell.
Mhm.
You know, and I think we need to understand that. Like we're not. Yeah, that's what I was kind of talking about too. Like, yeah, we're responsible, but at the same time, like. You kind of were suckered into this. You did it out of ignorance.
Right.
God can forgive you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You played the game.
But you got to forgive them.
Right.
But,
You know
first,
what I mean?
but first, you got to be willing to leave the game, though, because if you're
Yeah.
still in the game, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you got to humble yourself.
Right.
You know, you can't keep going the same route you're
Right.
going.
Right.
And it's this idea of what we think success is.
Mhm.
You know, and I remember watching this interview with George Zimmerman, not George Zimmerman. George
I know you're
Zimmerman,
talking about, yeah.
the man who started Men's Warehouse.
Mhm.
And he said when in the 80s when he started this as a clothier doing clothes, he was never really the maker of it. He was in the fashion business, but he was selling suits wholesale. You guys know this place. So he said, I went to the malls, but back at that time, you're talking the 70s, 80s, to get a space in a mall was you had to sign like 40-year leases,
Right.
and it's like $30,000 a month. He said we couldn't afford it, and the next only other viable option would have been, strip malls.
Strip malls, yeah.
And he said everybody told him like this is not going to work. People are going to associate with a cheap brand, and they did for a long time. But he said our business model was small, simple. We catered to men, we catered to high fashion, but guys don't want the brand name suits. We had a lot of off brands. And he said through that we developed this concept that we were going to essentially have 5 to 6 employees. It was going to be small. There's going to be less rent. There's going to be less overhead, and we provide fairly good quality suits, and we'll train people and move them up in the company. And he's like, and that formula worked, and I was very successful. He's like, but then pitchmen came to me and said, hey,
You want to take this to the next level?
let's go to the next level.
They pulled up in their Ferraris and they're like,
And he said that basically I had guys from IBM, from Coca-Cola, men who they had the business acumen, but they didn't have the clothing. To them, it was good. These formulas are going to work, and they did. But then he said, you know what we need? We need a board. It's not good that you're president because you know what's going to happen to you, and so we need a board. And he said, slowly but surely,
they pushed him out.
The board voted him out.
It happens all the time.
Strategist.
Yep.
And it's funny how like it's the
Then
same.
no longer this company that he built from the ground up.
He's gone.
Gone.
It's the same thing as war strategist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
And you don't see it.
Didn't that happen to our friend who started he had a contract. I don't want to name names, but
Name names, bro.
He had a contract.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Military.
Yes.
It was successful. They built it from the ground up, and then a
Brought
board
a
came
board
in, and then the board.
They sold. They went next level. Got a big payout.
You know what I think it is? I think sometimes it's really what's in you. You want to crush everything. You want to be the king of the world.
Yeah.
You want. It's like it's like the genie from Aladdin.
Yeah.
And Aladdin said, "Well, you're not as powerful as the genie. The
genie.
genie
Yeah.
powerful." You're like,
Right.
"Well,
Make me as powerful as
You're
him.
not as big as Macy's.
Yeah.
You're right. Make me.
Make me.
Yeah.
Mace.
And you get trapped in. You know what I mean?
But yeah, and then it's like pride, thinking you did it, and you had, oh, wasn't he the guy? Like even in music, oh, he was the one that had that hit called such and such, and then he gets all the clout. Like
Return of the Mac.
Remember we dealt with the dude from who had the lollipop hit, who like programmed
Diesel,
but and then we go there and he thinks he's the man. And he's trying to
babyface our whole session.
and it just destroyed it.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of Psalms 2, and because it's strategy, it's the pride of people coming together and plotting things, and this is what the world is based off of, and it's literally like, how can we take these people down? What's up?
Paul said Mark Morrison. Who are you talking about?
That's
He said,
Return of the Mac.
Classic. That's his name.
How do you know the name?
I forget that's how much of a one-hit wonder it is.
No, I'm saying, how does he know the name?
Yeah. Mark Morrison. Yeah.
But
go ahead.
Yeah, let me
Continue.
why did the people rage why did the nations rage and the people plot a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointing, saying, let us burst their bonds apart and cast away their cords from us. He who sits in heaven laughs, and the Lord holds them in derision. Then he will speak to them in his wrath and terrify them in his fury, saying, as for me, I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill. I will tell of the decree. The Lord said to me, you are my son. Today I have begotten you. And that begotten doesn't mean like I have born you. It means like literally I've given you my inheritance. Right? Ask me and I will make the nations your inheritance. So the nations are plotting, but then he gives over the nations as his inheritance. So it's like all these nations who are plotting, if you're plotting out of pride, trying to do all these exploits and rule the world, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But when you actually humble yourself and trust in God and give your life over, when it seems like the most horrible thing and you're going to be ashamed, that's actually where God exalts you, because you learn obedience. And then
real quick, shout out to Brendan Lennon, and
Brendan.
Paul said, "Cause I'm a child of the '90s, Jake."
So are we. But
what's up, Brendan?
I don't remember that song. I mean, no, I remember the song. I don't remember the name.
That's soccer, Brendan.
Yeah.
Brendan.
You met Brendan?
Yeah, I played with him.
Okay, Irish guy.
Irish.
So it says, ask of me, and I will make the nations your heritage, and the ends of the earth your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron, and dash them in pieces like potter's vessel. Now, therefore, O kings, be wise and be warned, O rulers of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and you perish in the way, for his wrath is quickly kindled. Blessed are those who take refuge in him, or blessed are those who trust in the Lord. So it's literally like we try to do all these things, you know, we these things sound right to me. Yeah, if I do this, this, and this, then I'll be good. But then it all comes crashing down eventually, you know. We put our trust in these things and these ideas and these thoughts and these strategies. But, you know, a lot of times they fall down. Well,
absolutely.
Every time they fall down.
Cool. All right. Ready to wrap it up? Everybody good? Anybody else want anything else to say real quick before we get out of here? Shout out to everybody who has been watching and chiming in. Shout out to Brendan. What's up, man? I wonder if did you guys win on Sunday? Brendan had a game on Sunday. I didn't see who they were playing, but my game was canceled. They were talking about they were going to bring me over there, but never did. Shout out to Paul, Tia, Emma, my mom, everybody who was watching, Shaniqua, Martin, Tiffany, everybody. Hey, your sister's birthday tomorrow. Don't forget to call her.
Yes, absolutely. I have it saved.
Yeah.
Don't
but
be
yeah.
like me.
We appreciate everybody for watching. We thank you. Thanks to James for coming. Rachel and John producing over there. Great job. Remember, if you want to support, if you want to, be a part of what we're doing and just support in any way, you can donate or you can subscribe. And I think it's like super cheap to subscribe. If you want to just give to the cause, you can go to patreon.com/YoungLionTV. And also you can get our music and our merch on Jatan.com. Yeah, and just keep sharing the video. Share this, please. Oh, he said they won 2-0. That's what's up.
2-0.
Nice. Tia said, "Where's the song at?"
Where the song?
Should we do a song?
It looks like
She wanted us to
Brendan's
do a
moving
Christmas
on up. Looks like they're going to move on
I
up.
think they
to
might
the next,
be moving to our division.
Yeah. Well, you guys are going to move down.
No, I think there's like I think you have to
Wait,
be in that
you-
division for like 2 years.
Y'all
yeah.
move up and down like
the
the real deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She said, "Sing a song you promised." Did we promise?
I don't think we did, but
we could do a song. What do you want to do?
I don't know. Whatever.
Well, I got to break out of here, guys.
All right, brother.
So have a good one, everybody.
We don't need you for this one anyway.
You don't need me. Girl, you're fine. All right, fellas.
All right, bro.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good one.
All right, bro.
All right. So yeah,
Thank you for your presence.
No problem.
Thank you, man.
It's good to be back.
Any requests? Tia, since you want us to do a song?
Does Tia even know any of our songs?
Want to do Who Am I? A little bit of Who Am I?
She said it's been a long time. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
you
gonna be a
are
no.
bugging with that one right there. That's gonna be a hard no.
Yeah, let's do Who Am I?
Okay.
Since I first.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Brendan said, "Sing Return of the Mac."
Who am I to judge? Who am I to deny love? Who am I to try and pick your world apart? But I refuse to be deceived by imposters and the thieves that attempt to gain an entrance in my heart. No, they won't take this ground. Their words won't leave me bound. No, I won't be moved. My roots are firmly sound. Soon they'll find out who am I. Who am I? Maybe there's more to me. Maybe there's more that lies beneath. Maybe even my dreams have been diseased. Maybe I can learn to love without fear of being judged, without fear of all the world rejecting me. Yeah, I'm taking this ground. No, my words will not fall down. I can see my future breaking through these clouds. Hey, I'm finding out who am I? Who am You may take me as a fool, 'cause I view life different than you. But hold your tongue, don't let it run off with illusions in my path. Yeah, they're trying to hold me back, but they can't see it, they won't see it, no, telling me to turn around, 'cause I can't take these giant steps. But who am I? Yeah. All right, there you go. Song done. Appreciate you guys once again. Thank you, everybody. Don't ever play guitar with Dorito cheese on your fingers. Yeah. Again, if you want to donate to the cause, patreon.com/YoungLionTV. You can get the music, jatan.com, and merch and all that good stuff. And we will see you guys next week.
Young Lion go live, yeah. Young Lion, you rich, yeah. This